Subscribe today, Tommy, if you love movies.
Hey, look at boobies! I like movies. Hey, Cinema Gulp, where are ya? Help!
Hey, take it easy.
But I lost Cinema Gulp.
Stay calm. Just go to YouTube to subscribe and hit the bell for all the latest videos.
Hey, we're Cinema Gulp and we drink your cinema.
Thanks, Joe. Now I can subscribe.
And subscribing is half the battle.
That's what I'm from. Do it up again! You know what? You don't have an answer for that, do you? F you, man. I'm sorry.
I like beer. It makes me a jolly good fellow.
Hey, remember when.
Is this thing up?
It's showtime.
Hey, welcome to Cinema Gulp. I gotta get this going here.
Woot woot. Woot.
Yes, welcome back. We are here 3 weeks in a row, Scotty. Like nobody had to take time off, nothing. We're on a roll here in 2025, and I love it.
So far.
And, you know, before we get started, I want to say, and I think I told you this, Scotty, on Friday, out of nowhere, because we lost the late, great, amazing David Lynch, we decided to do a live stream, and it's become our most popular viewed, liked, commented live stream. So I love to see that people love David Lynch, because that's obviously the reason that it became a popular live stream. I'm very happy about that. Anyway,
still reeling though.
Same here. Yeah, I'm gonna go back. Well, I'm gonna go back watch all of Twin Peaks so I can prepare to watch the new Twin Peaks, which some people say isn't good and some people say is great. But before that, let's get started. Welcome to Hump Day Happy Hour, Triple H. If you consider Hump Day one word, which we do. I'm Ben, and this is Cinema Gulp, joined as always by the Ayatollah Flat Coca-Cola, the Mr. Fantastic, a fantastic mixer Foxes. It's Scotty R37.
Lovely, thank you. You're too kind, too gracious.
And we got a special guest for his first time here, making a nice debut. I'm glad he's here. He's got a great channel. Thanks for joining Canadian Spider-Man.
Thanks for having me. And I brought a beverage to gulp.
Yes. Oh, what do you got there?
This is
talk about it.
This is a sneaky weasel. It is foxy, shifty, wily, and crafty. At a 5.6,
Is it an IPA or is it?
It is an IPA. Yeah.
Okay.
I like the IPAs. Yeah.
Yeah. Same here. That sounds great. What do you got, Scotty? Is it the PBR?
It's the PBR. I am consistent.
I got some Absolute and lime because I'm a nerd.
Oh no.
So lots of stuff to talk about today. If you're here, the thumbnail dragged you here because I did use the poster from Not Another. I think it was called like Not Another Comic Book Movie from like the early 2000s.
I thought it was just called Superhero Movie.
Oh, that's what it was called. Was called. Yeah, because they were doing all those epic movie, like romantic comedy movie or whatever. Like they were doing all those, and I saw that picture and I was like, oh, that works perfectly. That works perfectly. So we're gonna deep dive hardcore into our favorites, our least favorites, some that are just okay. If you guys have subcategories like, man, this was the funniest comic book movie, those are fine too. Anything you want to talk about. But first, real quickly, again, Scotty, I've been saying this for 3 weeks because it's January. Not a whole shitload to talk about when it comes to box office. It's the slow season. So we're gonna, let's see, where am I? There it is. So I'm gonna bring it up really quick. Our buddy Mojo. We have
buddy
not
box
lost,
office.
We've not lost Mojo. Okay, so here we go. It's a slow week when I don't even know what the hell number one is.
What is it?
One of them days? I have no idea what that is.
Never even heard of it.
No.
How'd it do? How much money?
Let's see. It made $15 million. Well, it's made $15 million up until yesterday. But whatever. I don't even know what it is. Mufasa still going strong. That movie had legs. Like it tanked its opening weekend. I mean, it fucking tanked. And oops, I did it. It's all right. We're not going to get monetized anyway. But Wolfman bombed. Huge bomb. I figured it would be, but I think it only had like a $30 million budget, so I'm sure it'll be okay. But it doesn't look very good. It's not getting good reviews. So
I heard it does the worst crime that a film can, and it's just a little dull.
Yeah, and not scary.
Yeah,
I've heard that. I've heard that too. Yeah, yeah. And when you're doing a werewolf movie, you have a pinnacle. You have American Werewolf in London, and then there's everything else as far as transformation scenes. And if you don't try to become innovative or work extra hard to make that stand out and unique, then it doesn't matter. And if it's just a bunch of CGI shit, then who cares? You know, like we said, Scotty, when we did Bloody Good Year, The Howling has a really great, very close second place to American Werewolf in London, even though it focuses mostly on the face transformation, where American Werewolf is just brilliant because it does the entire body. Have you seen that one, Steve?
No, I haven't. I mean, I'm aware of it.
You're aware of it?
You're in for a treat, sir. You're in for a treat.
No, Teen Wolf with
that's
Michael P.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I love Teen Wolf because it's all done in the bathroom, across the bathroom mirror. It's pretty inventive. But then you're like, oh, that's just Michael J. Fox with a Chewbacca mask on. Pretty much. Sonic 3 still doing good. I'm so glad to see that. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Den of Thieves, I guess this is part 2. I never even heard of part 1, but it's a Gerard Butler movie that actually made it to the theater, so that's unique.
Well, he's all right. Yeah, I like
Moana 2 crossed $1 billion last week, so it's in the $1 billion club for, I guess, 2024, because it came out. Dude, it's 6, and it came out in November. That's pretty good, because you see Wicked's fallen quite a bit. A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan movie, doing pretty good. Doing really good. That movie probably cost just peanuts to make, and it's $60 million, like here in the States. That's really good. I haven't seen it yet. My aunt has been texting me nonstop. Oh, I've been waiting. I've been watching Cinema Go. Pulpin, you're going to review the Complete Unknown. I'm like, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. But Nosferatu is still hanging in there. 90 million, but Nosferatu has crossed 150. It costs 50 million to make, so it's in the profit margins at this point, making some scratch. And it'll probably do gangbusters on streaming, like during Halloween and stuff. Wicked, whatever. And everything else. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, is Wicked even close to making any money yet?
Well, it's made 465 million here in the States, but it did, and Canada, but it doesn't have the worldwide appeal. So 710 is good, but I think they're gonna have to, for that next one this year, they're gonna just have to concentrate on the States and Canada for their dough, because I think, as you know, witches, there's countries that are like, no, we can't show witches are bad or whatever.
Yes.
So
most of Asia, as a matter of fact.
Yes, that's a thing. Yeah, that is a thing. That's so yeah, that's the box office. It's still boring.
They'll probably do a re-release of the Wicked 1 when Wicked 2 comes out, so we'll get
double feature,
a little bit more. But also, it was a situation where I think Wicked just went to streaming now. So it might pick up some more, not box office, but some more profit, just in terms of it's that $30 for the home viewing ticket. So
it's already made over $60 million on streaming, but they don't show that in the box office. So
right. But in the immortal words of the philosopher Jules Winfield, sewer rat may taste like pumpkin pie, but I'll never know because I won't eat the filthy motherfucker.
There's only one green woman I want to see.
Exactly.
It's Gamora for me, man.
That's your that's a good one.
Yeah. Let's say hello to the chat. Looks good. Hail Gulpers. Hail. DJ Play Nice stopped by to say hi for a bit earlier.
Hey, DJ.
Or a bit early. I hope to make it back for the live. Have a great show. Awesome evening. And hey, Joe Dog, who always just says, what's up?
Who's dog?
Joe. Man, a few words.
What's
Well,
up to you?
You'll have a hard time coming off like an idiot if that's all you ever say, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well, unless it's
You
a
don't
2-hour
open your
live
mouth.
stream, in which case. What up?
I'm just happy that someone jumps on and says something. It's like, hell yeah. So in honor of us doing all things comic book movies, I just figured we'd get it out of the way because it's not on like the eve of some movie coming out and like, hey, let's do a whole thing. We just don't really talk about those movies that much on this channel. So I thought, let's just do it. Let's just knock it out because I've got a bunch. I'm going to tell you guys that watch this channel every comic book movie I like, hate, and think is okay, and then we never have to talk about it again if we don't want to. Hey, Paul from Long Beach. What's up, dude? Cheers, Ben and Scotty. And say hello to
Paul.
Canadian Spider-Man if you don't know him.
Hey, Paul.
And check out his channel. It's in the chat. And John, my
Hey, John.
better half, is here. What's up? So he says what's up just like Joe Dog. All right, great. So like I said, in honor of these, I know I have more, but I have 800 some odd vinyl. But the ones that I had out, I was like, you know what? Let's do a vinyl spinner.
Oh, I love it.
So this is a fantastic pickup I got about 10 years ago. There's this record store, if you want to call it. It's actually, he's called Cream Tangerine. And it's a VW bus that's completely gutted inside just to become shelves of vinyl, except he can drive it in the front. And he drives it up to this place called the Lab, the Anti-Mall, which is it's like a mall, but it's for like goth people and stuff, and so it used to have a big comic book shop inside.
Like the regular mall.
It's like weird, yeah, the Anti-Mall. So anyway, he always has this like really weird pickups where I'm like, where the hell did you get those? So I love the movie, and I remember listening to the radio dramas. So a long time ago, I got a vinyl of a couple of the Shadow radio dramas. If you don't know anything about Shadow, it's a really creative, inventive story. I think from the 40s, 30s, yeah, from the 30s. It's noir at its best when it comes to comics, and just look at that's just amazing. Like that's the perfect cover of the Shadow, and the movie was obvious. This is not a soundtrack to the movie. This is a collection of the radio drama episodes, and I throw it on like during Halloween time sometimes just because it's kind of creative and weird. Do you have the movie, Scotty? Is that what
I do.
The movie was okay. I wish it had been better, but it's not bad. It's visually pretty cool to look at.
Oh, it's fantastic, and especially it's kind of peak Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin. Yeah.
Like circa Jack Ryan days. And so no, he's great in it. It's a perfect balance of camp and pulp. And there's a little bit of Eastern mysticism that's brought into it.
A lot
Stellar
of it, yeah.
cast. It's got Penelope Ann Miller, Tim Curry, Jonathan Winters, Peter Boyle. Who's Gandalf? Ian McKellen. Like it's fantastic. And I celebrate it because it is it's in the same vein as something like The Rocketeer or The Phantom.
Yes. It's a companion piece, basically, with the Phantom. I think they were the same year or 1 year apart. Shadow was 94. I think Phantom was 95. But you're right. Rocketeer, Phantom, The Shadow. That's a great like triple feature because they all have that really old pulpy like comic. And I think they were all radio dramas. Not the Rocketeer, because
The Rocketeer was an original comic book. It's The Phantom, I believe, started off as a comic strip and then turned into a radio play and had a few serials. But The Phantom was a radio play first and then transitioned into a comic strip and movie serials. And I think there was a feature or two in the 40s. But no, just great for the era. And part of the reason that they bombed is just because all three of them is because they sort of harkened back to an earlier time. People were trying to make an Indiana Jones clone around the same time that people like audiences had been introduced into Jurassic Park and the Terminator 2. And so it was sort of in the waning days or heyday of big budget 80s action spectacle and the beginnings of CGI revolution, and right in the epicenter of the nuclear blast that was Batman 89. So when you wanted a superhero movie, that was the bar that you were attempting to hit.
Yeah, 90s was not, people weren't into it yet. But another good thing, Scotty, about well, I guess you can't count The Rocketeer because that's an original property, but I love that both The Shadow and The Phantom kept their stories in the time that they're originally written. And that might have been why they didn't do as well. To me, you're right. It harkens to Indiana Jones and stuff, and that was what they were going for. The Phantom is definitely more hokey than The Shadow is. You got Billy Zane running around in purple spandex in the jungle, but it's still fun. It's got Bruce Campbell in it. Come on.
Well, and I've seen a couple of conversations regarding the Phantom and the Shadow, and if you want to mess around with your television settings and your contrasts and brightness, both of those movies look excellent in black and white and are almost from the era in terms of the blocking, the acting, the cinematography. It looks like a movie from the 1930s, 100%. And they evoke it. It is fantastic. But those are more like hidden gems.
Good point, Paul. Yeah, right. I think Dick Tracy was 90 or 91. I think
90.
Right?
I think.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. Dick Tracy was another one of those that kept itself in its era, and I think Dick Tracy did well, though. I can't remember.
It did. Again, it was that era where it was like everybody wanted Batman money, and if it didn't make Batman money, then everyone was disappointed.
Yes. Canadian Spider-Man. Any experiences with either of those, or with The Shadow? Did you see the film? Did you listen to the radio drama at all, or?
I've heard clips of The Shadow, but I haven't seen the film. I'm a big fan of Billy Zane, so I have seen The Phantom, and I've got a shout out to Harry in Australia. He's one of my best friends over in Australia, and he's got a Phantom bar out by his pool. He's got an entire man cave bar that he set up that serves the pool, and he's got Phantom everything. And so I didn't even know who the Phantom was until I met Harry. And
man, that's a hardcore fan.
Yeah, and then I saw everything. He's got stuff from any decade. He's got stuff from North America, being all the way over in Australia. He's got everything, yeah. And just so I'm impressed with Billy Zane anyway. So I like the Phantom. Yeah, and so I'm familiar with the Phantom. The Shadow, I'm aware of its history, like a radio program and a cartoon, but I'm not familiar with the modern take on it. Dick Tracy, of course, absolutely familiar with Dick Tracy. That was, and I almost want to put, I don't know, but whenever I think Dick Tracy, I think Roger Rabbit.
Well, yeah, it's got that noir aesthetic in the 40s.
In fact, I get them mixed up in my head. I can't tell you what happened in each one because they're the same.
Scotty, hold up that DVD again and look at how spot on they were to catch kind of the, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's very, very good the way that cover captures the spirit of this old. I mean, this is an original pressing record. They don't repress the
the radio dramas.
Yeah, they don't repress those for The Shadow. Okay, last one. I'll go through this really quick because this may or may not show up on my list when we talk about comic book movies. But I have the Ultimate Edition of The Crow soundtrack. This is one of the best soundtracks ever made. It kind of transcends a lot of the movie, as does the untimely death of Brandon Lee, of course. But it's a phenomenal movie, and you can't. I don't hold the soundtrack or sort of, the what happened on set over how good I think the product of the movie is, because it's Alex Proyas at his very best. Yeah.
Yeah, his if you go to Seattle, you can go to Brendan Lee's grave right beside his father. It's
Right beside his father. Yeah, I heard that.
yeah, it's quite a moving experience.
Let's catch up with the chat real quick, and then we'll jump right in. Okay, Paul from Long Beach again. Why is it not showing up?
Oh, what's up?
Oh, this is fun. Oh yeah, so it's a van customized as a record store. Yes, it is, and it's awesome. And it's very small, so it's really easy to shop and browse through the whole thing. That's the best thing about it, pretty much. But
Is it like the Criterion van? Or the Criterion closet, sorry.
It's very similar. Yeah. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
That's my cousin. My cousin says, can we talk about Catwoman 2004? We just might. We just might. Scotty's right. Yeah, Scotty's right. These films come from Batman, of course. And
that broke records. That was the biggest movie of all time. Batman broke every record, if memory serves.
Well, I know who this is. It's Ariane. It's a friend, but I can't read what that says.
Boise says the Crow.
Okay. The Crow. Yes, the Crow. Thanks for being here. Awesome. Okay, perfect timing. And as promised, Canadian Spider-Man showed up first. Bobek is going to be here soon. He's stuck in LA fire traffic. He's driving into hell right now, and hopefully he's okay.
See, that's how you can tell it's a Los Angeles disaster, is because you still gauge it by the traffic.
Oh God, dude! If you've ever been on the 91, Scotty, you'll never think a freeway is bad in your life after you've been on the 91.
It's like the CN Tower.
Represent
this.
Boy. Hey, hello. The Crow, wonderful. Dude, I can't wait until you cover that one. Represent This. That'll be fantastic. I actually did a film and vinyl on this, which goes over the history of the making of the film simultaneously with the making of the soundtrack of the film. Check that one out too. Anyway, let's move on. I think it's time to get started, guys. I think it's time to start talking about the worst comic book movies ever made.
Ding dong! Ding dong!
And we're going to start with Canadian Spider-Man because he was here. He did log on first.
I did, yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no, again, I'm just happy to be a part of this. But
no, I'm happy that you're here. And there's no, you can shoot out 5 right now if you want, 3, 1. But me, you, and Scotty will rotate. You go ahead. You go with your gut, brother. You go with your gut.
Yeah. Well, I found this during my research. I didn't even know this, so this automatically goes to number 1. Barbed Wire. Barbed Wire with Pam Anderson. That was based on a comic book of a few years before. So right there, I'd like to put that up as
pretty visually accurate, though.
Yes, perhaps, but as far as plot and story,
funny story. Barbed Wire is a remake of Casablanca.
Oh dear!
Not a word of a lie. It is actually. She owns a bar. She has a sidekick, played by Udo Kier. Her ex-boyfriend comes into town with ways to get out of her little demilitarized area, played by Jango Fett, Tamora Morrison, and then
I like him.
Yeah, no, but it is literally ripped from Casablanca, except Barbed Wire, played by Pamela Anderson, is Rick Blaine and a stripper bar owner.
Wow.
Now, is this the story of the movie or of the comic book? Okay.
The movie. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's if you're not into the camp, the only reason I'm into the camp is because it is, you watch it and you're just like Casablanca.
Okay, right. Well, I'm going with camp because the next Batman and Robin.
Oh.
Batman and Robin.
That's going to show up. Yeah.
That was just a terrible comic book movie. It was just raw. Wasn't that the one with the bat nipples? That might have even been the one with the bat nipples.
It was
forever introduced the bat nipples, but they are
I mean, it almost had, it shared a problem with some of the Spider-Man 3 in that there was too many evil foes. it was stacked with too many bad guys, and so it was just hard to keep focus. So I want to say Batman and Robin.
And it was also just
even though I like the actors individually, but I mean, there's camp and just Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze was just too. I couldn't get it.
I want a car. Chicks dig the car.
This is why Superman works alone. Hi, Freeze.
I'm Batman.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That was preloaded because I figured all three of us might have that one on there. So.
And I know Ryan Reynolds wasn't a fan of himself starring as the Green Lanterns. I'm not going to include that. I didn't hate that one. One I did hate was Elektra. That was a terrible comic book movie, and I just did not like Elektra. Also related, I think Daredevil is in the same little corner there. I didn't like Daredevil. I'll finish it with Daredevil. I mean, he's not much. I mean, who'd I rather watch, Daredevil or Spider-Man or Superman? Yeah, it's not Daredevil. I don't. That's one that would fall into the category of great as a comic book, didn't need to be made into a movie on the big screen.
And fucking amazing as a Netflix show. Amazing.
Yeah, possibly. I haven't seen it. Yeah, but not on the big screen.
Well, no. And sure, exactly, but that's also coming off of the, like, even if you ignore X-Men and Spider-Man, because I think Daredevil came out after Spider-Man.
It came in 2003, and it came out after after X2 too.
And so at that point, you had Blade, X-Men, and Spider-Man to compare Daredevil to, and because of the excess evanescence that was dripping off of that movie, I think that was something that was just not as well received. I do recommend the director's cut. It does make it better. It does not great, but it does make it better than it was. But fun fact, and when it comes to Elektra, is that Jennifer Garner said she was so happy to revisit this character after X number of years, and she didn't count Elektra. She just goes straight back to Daredevil. So she's like, I don't even give a shit about Elektra.
I always forgot that was a movie.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot Elektra was a movie. Hey, Bobak is here.
Bobak.
Welcome, Bobak.
What's up, guys?
Your safe arrival. Fantastic.
Well,
I love your background. Love your background. Yeah, dude, you actually perfect timing. Perfect timing. We just got started on our picks, and we just got through Canadian Spider-Man first. Canadian Spider-Man, Bobak, Canadian Spider-Man.
Hi. Yeah, we were talking about barbed wire and Pam Anderson.
Yeah, we were talking about barbed wire. So we're quiet, Cookie. By the way, how's everything going out there in Los Angeles right now for you?
Going great for me personally. I did just get notice of a new flare-up, a new fire. I couldn't quite find it on the map, so it's not like in the west side. But I've been stuck in traffic. I was just doing some errands after work, and all I could hear on the roads was sirens, just emergency vehicles going in one direction, So it's out there somewhere, but I couldn't find it on the map.
They found
it
some.
Affect me. Say again?
So at least they found some emergency vehicles to respond with.
Thank goodness, yeah.
No shit.
Although I think we probably have a lot of your firefighters down here doing some good work, so thank you guys.
You guys help us out in the summertime when we have a lot of arsonists running around causing trouble. You guys come up and help us. So Mexicans too also come up.
That's right. Yeah, firefighters are international, honestly, because you never can you can never employ as many as you need in the emergency. And so therefore everyone's always, sharing. But anyway, I digress. Thank you guys for your concern. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, of course, man. You're our LA affiliate on the ground.
I drink that. Cheers.
I got cheers, Bobak. Cheers, brother. Thanks for being here. Joe Boo needs a refill. Okay, so checking real quick. Looks good. Says Bob Wire is sexy, goofy, fun, but it sucks.
But it does suck, yes.
Well said. Scotty, you are up next. Give us a couple of your worsts, and then we'll move on to Bobak, and then I will go last.
I have always asserted that Helen Slater as Supergirl is one of the most boring superhero movies. It's not that it's all like it's not terrible. I don't want to besmirch anybody's affection for mid-80s Supergirl, but it is boring and it has witches. And I don't understand what Peter O'Toole is doing in that movie. He might be drunk. Although you do get Hart Bochner, who was famously Ellis in Die Hard. Most of these movies are like, okay, we'll do, it's like a Where's Waldo of declining careers. And one poor girl who had to be super being, and bless Helen Slater for doing something with it. But I've always found that to be one of the most boring superhero movies. I never cared for Ghost Rider 1 or 2. I love Nicolas Cage, especially when he's at his most Nicolas Cagey. But I think that is one of like 4 movies that I have ever walked out of because I would rather go get a beer than continue watching that story. It's not like I didn't know it was going to win. His name's in the title. It's Ghost Rider. He's going to win, but I just didn't care. Which is, the worst thing about that is because of the mysterious stranger from The Big Lebowski. I forget his name right now.
But were you aware of Ghost Rider as
yes?
Okay, because I had never heard of it before the movie. So, but
I was
aware. Okay.
Yeah, I collected comics, and he would show up from time to time, and not Sam Elliott.
I never liked
Sam Elliott. Yeah, it's Sam Elliott is who was in Ghost Rider. That's the only reason that I should have stuck around. But even Sam Elliott couldn't keep me there. But I was aware of Ghost Rider from the comic books. I just never really cared. And
not a huge fan of like overpowered superheroes, and like Ghost Rider like can't die. So, I mean, I love Spider-Man. He's super powered, but he'll get torn in half by Superman. So he's
Even I wouldn't pretend that Spidey could last 1 second with Superman. Not gonna happen.
Spider-Man's super strong, but there are times
levels of strength. Yeah,
levels of strength.
America, but he's not as strong as Superman.
Superman would look at Spider-Man and cut that fucker apart.
Totally.
Eyes.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then Zot.
Yeah,
exactly. It reminds me of The Boys, where there was an episode where the Superman character he flies in somewhere, and of course people got their cell phones out, and he just
Homelander,
and he just laser beams some dude who's some badass terrorist, is haha, whatever, shrugs it, but he cut some innocent person in half who was behind the terrorist, and he's and the crowd turns on him. They're like, "You're not a hero, you're a murderer," and he's like, "Well, I'm out of here," But I always think how did Superman never have collateral damage with the eye beam thing?
Well, if you saw Man of Steel, he has millions of people.
Spoiler! I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Just watch the trailer. You'll see the destruction of Metropolis.
Oh, what else you got, Scotty?
This is kind of heartbreaking for me. I know it's very fashionable to dislike Brie Larson. I've always been a Brie Larson fan. I liked her in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I liked her in Room. I've liked her in everything that I've ever seen her in, but I did not like her in Captain Marvel. I like Samuel L. Jackson. I like Clark Gregg. Everything about the movie, all the pieces were there, and unfortunately, the characterization was not there. She wasn't heroic. The only reason that movie made $1 billion is because it was the last movie to come out before
Endgame,
Avengers Endgame.
But
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Don't get mad at me, Bree. It's not you, baby. I know you don't care about me and you think I'm a toxic white male, but whatever.
You're a 40-year-old white dude. She's mad at you already.
I know, but that doesn't mean that I'm just putting out some fires. I'm not going to jump on any bandwagon saying her feet are ugly or nothing. I'm just saying I didn't like that movie because I thought that the character was mean to be a superhero. She was too mean.
Yeah, a guy on a motorcycle asks her to smile because he thinks she's pretty, and she breaks his arm and steals his motorcycle. She's a villain.
Yeah.
That's not a good way to introduce your superhero.
and we wonder why guys aren't even asking anymore. They're just taking. No wonder, because that's what happens.
Exactly.
That was a terrible model. Who thought that was a good idea to put that on the screen? Like Superman would never do that.
Well, but it's an overcompensation for the time in which it was made.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was around the time that those viral videos were coming out, and it was like, I walked around New York City, and this is how many times I was catcalled, and it's
you're right, you're 100% right. Yeah,
it was just a response to that, and unfortunately, when it comes to my superpowered hot chicks who can fly through space and spaceships, your social commentary. It's like when Barbie came out and it was like, I just don't want to be treated like I'm an attractive woman. And then the voiceover comes up and says, perhaps this point could have been better made if it weren't Margot Robbie. And so it's that kind of thing. At least Barbie was self-aware with it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it should have been Melissa McCarthy.
Well, what was it? It was going to be Amy Schumer, but we can talk about that on our toy-based movie reviews.
I'll get in trouble if we go into that conversation.
But yeah, no, and so I guess those would be the three. Like I could say Superman 4, obviously Batman and Robin, but same way that I sort of refer to Barbed Wire. It's like there is something funny about them, like even with Elektra. I haven't even seen, like, honestly I would say Ghost Rider is probably the worst of the worst that I can think off the top of my head, because that's the one that I didn't even bother to finish watching.
I don't even like the comics of Ghost Rider, so I had no interest. I love Nicolas Cage. I'm sure he does some Cage Rage in that, but I just didn't care. All right, I got a couple I'll throw out here, and I'll start off with
I never make these.
Okay, bend your knees and follow through.
No! And you get it. It's Shaquille O'Neal, so he says, "I never make these," meaning he doesn't make free throws. Get it? So
what movie is that?
That's Steel. From 1996. It's awful. It's, I mean, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to top Steel. it's terrible, man. Yeah,
what if you're on
Shaq go? Look at him go. Look at that. That's a superhero right there. I mean, this thing doesn't even fit.
I wish you had the frame of reference as to what Steel looked like in the comic books, because it is actually a DC spinoff from the Reign of the Supermen.
His name is John Henry, right? And he has
Henry Steel.
Yeah, and he has this giant like hammer. And in the comics he's played straight. But Shaq, it's like, what the fuck were they thinking? They're like thinking, I know what they were thinking, giant, big black guy. But you got to get an actor, though. You got to get an actor.
Michael, what's his name from the
Michael
Green
Clark
Mile?
Duncan.
As big as they get.
He was too big. He wasn't he was muscular, but he wasn't trim enough for it. And plus, he wasn't really a thing yet. I think Armageddon kind of put him on the map a couple years after this. But you're right. That would have been better because Michael Clark Duncan was a fantastic actor.
I have no doubt he could get cut for that role. You throw money in his face, he'd.
You know what? You're right. Yeah, it sucks that guy's dead. I actually thought he was fantastic. He was really good as Kingpin too.
Oh yeah, he's
dead.
Oh, he died like 10 years ago, I think. Yeah.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
Be thankful for what he left behind.
He left with his Green Mile character.
I've been writing fan mail to nobody.
Let's see. Okay, so the next, I'm going over quickly the ones where I have like funny little things to show. Let's see here. Oh my God! All right, 1995, setting the stage.
You killed innocent people.
The means to an end.
You started a massacre.
I caused the revolution.
You betrayed the law.
Ladies and gentlemen, Armand Asante. That's Judge Dredd from 1995. And if you're thinking, where's Judge Dredd in that? Oh, it's Sylvester Stallone. He just refused to wear the helmet because he was the most and is still the most egotistical person in the world, Sylvester Stallone. So he wore the helmet in the opening scene, and he never wore it again. I think he wears it at the end, but it's
a smart choice. I can't disagree with the choice.
Really? Like, okay. Okay.
Well, the lead
as an actor,
the lead in the action movies never covers their face because they have to be recognizable. And that's one of my pet peeves, like all these war movies, and you got like the main guy running in with no fucking head cover. Like, come on, like what knight takes his helmet off and then goes into battle?
Unless you're Tom Hardy, where you almost like want your face covered in every movie.
Yeah, exactly. Tom Hardy, I don't even know what the guy looks like, but I know what you're saying.
Die Hard. I was watching at Christmas, of course, Die Hard, and all the cops running, you know, where they run up to the bottom of Nakatomi Tower and they're cutting the door to try and get in.
The SWAT team or whatever.
None of them are wearing goggles.
No, they're wearing
any safety glasses. Yeah, there's no goggles of any kind, no glasses, nothing, no protection. And he's got a torch.
Right, you're right, though, Canadian Spider-Man. Like, at a certain point, the MCU even stopped. Like, if you remember the first Iron Man, when he's Iron Man, he's Iron Man. He has to take that thing off.
Right.
This whole new thing of this, like, magical disappearance helmet thing is so shit. And that's what I didn't like about the MCU Spider-Man is, like, no, he has to pull it off, you know?
Thank you. That's right.
That's a huge signature of the comics is when he rips it off his head, you know?
And often he'll just have it halfway up when he's like kissing Mary Jane or something, you know?
This has to be a physical mask. You know, they've got to be
nice, dude. That is amazing.
Masks.
Oh, is it amazing? Get it? It is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty. Yeah, all right.
I like.
Anyway, okay. So I'll do one more quick one, and then it's Bob X's turn. This was a heartbreaker for me as a kid, super heartbreaker. Though I found it more entertaining then than I don't know. Now it's just laughable. That would be Superman 4. The Quest for Peace. Look at that picture. Nuclear Man takes and that. Look at that picture. That's like a stunt person. That's not even Christopher Reeve right there.
Oh, really?
It's not.
Man, that movie's so cheesy and misguided and horrible. I have no idea how they got Gene Hackman back for that movie. No clue.
That was Richard Pryor, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, that movie had no money. It was a Canon film movie. It was like super cheap. He might have. Who knows? Maybe somebody had some dirt on him. Who knows? But Superman 4: The Quest for Peace is an abomination of a movie, and it's really sad that that's how Christopher Reeve went out. And I know that even in the early 90s, way before 5-6 years before his accident, he had almost said he did say maybe we should do another one. I'll get back in shape and do another one, but nothing ever came of it. Obviously. So, but anyway, I'll let Bobette go. I did a few of those. Sorry, it took so much time.
We're doing worst right now, yeah?
We're doing worst, yeah. So just throw off 3, 4, whatever you want.
Well, so I'm kind of limiting myself a little bit here because I'm trying to stick to movies that I watched. And of course, you don't want to go out and see the ones that you think suck. So it's a very narrow little thing here. But I like that I'm going to bring a little spice to the conversation. I'm going to start out, I don't know. I got 3 here, but I'm going to, and the other thing that I'm trying to limit myself is no sequels, because sequels are often, they're bad, but the second can be good, but like the 4th or the 6th, they're not all that good, but
There's no criteria here. Anything you want to do is fine. Yeah.
So I'll start with just an easier one. Aquaman 2, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
I never saw it.
Exactly, right? It's one of those things that's it's streaming, I'm bored, there's nothing else. And so that's how I'm going to see these things. But I was
Smoking a
like,
little
dude, what is this
something.
fucking underwater Wakanda where suddenly like Aquaman is Batman with all these like tools and he's the king. The entire thing was a green screen. I don't think they even built a set. I mean, maybe they had like a prop, you know, but I mean, like you were saying with the new costumes, like where the actors, they just pull that little green mask over their face and they CGI the mask over it, you know, like I don't think I saw, this is probably the only part of Jason Momoa that like you actually got to see, you know, like the rest of him was all CGI too and stuff. And it was just such a, I don't know, to me, it was just such a waste because it's one of those things where it's obvious we got this franchise. There's going to be a certain amount of revenue. If we just put the minimum into the budget, we're going to get a profit on it. And we're obliged to do it as a business move. And Jason Momoa's like, fuck yeah, bro. You know, like, okay, Aquaman, you know, but like, it just couldn't get, I couldn't even get into how bad the story was. Yeah. I couldn't even get into how bad the story was just based off of visually. Like, I was like, you know, but yeah, you know, Aquaman 2, another one.
Good one.
That is a good one. Yeah.
Another one that I'm going to stir the pot a bit here. Let's see what you guys have to say. I hate Ben Affleck as an actor. Anything that Ben Affleck is involved in, it's an automatic, I don't want to see it. I think like he was probably the worst part of like Clerks and Goodwill. No, he was good in Clerks. But was that him? I don't know. But you know, Goodwill.
He was in a bunch of Kevin Smith stuff, but yeah, we'll let that slide.
Like maybe when he was a struggling, starving student artist, like okay, cool, but like, dude, keep him the fuck away from Batman, and do not let me see Batman and Superman trying to battle it because, like, I'm sorry, unless Batman's suit is made from kryptonite, there's no contest here. And I was like, dude, don't fucking bring Ben Affleck into Superman because Superman Man of Steel is one of my favorite. I think that Henry Cavill is, I mean, I don't want to say he's better than Christopher Reeves as Superman. I'm not saying that. But Henry Cavill, to me, is Superman. I never really watched the original. I was kind of too young. You know, the original ones, like I saw him, you know, but like I never really was into him. But now the reboot with Man of Steel and all that, I thought it was, I'm not going to get to the good movies. But anyway, don't bring Henry Cavill's Superman down to the level of Ben Affleck's Batman. Just for me, please. Just for me. Okay.
Well, Henry Cavill was like the embodiment of Superman stuck in a bunch of shitty scripts where he never got to be what he could have been, you know?
And the dude is legit buff. He's got the cleft chin. I'm sure he was born with a black curl of hair right there, you know? Like he is so, like, I hate to see him as like The Witcher and like degenerate from Superman. I'm like, dude, you are my Superman. Okay, just stay ageless and just keep doing this. Okay. So anyway, I'm not going there right now. So Batman versus Superman, and then it was like Dawn of Justice. You know, just throwing.
Well, that was the same
Wonder
movie.
Woman, another spinoff I don't care about. You know, they even had Jason Momoa in there for something.
Oh, you mean Justice League? Justice League.
Yeah. No, they had Lawrence Fishburne, which is kind of cool. But I don't know. I couldn't get to it. And Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor, was more like, to me, like some fucking nervous Adderall, like Mark Zuckerberg, kind of like, dude, get back to your keyboard and invent me Facebook or something, bro. Like, come on now. You're not a Lex Luthor. I mean, but yeah. So
well said.
Batman and Superman could not get into. And again, I don't really want to go into like sequels, but and this one, I don't think this one wasn't a sequel, but it was a bit of a spinoff. Suicide Squad. The
Will Smith one?
Yes. Yeah. Will Smith as Deadshot. Like, you had me when the initial team. Okay. I didn't get into
the trailer was fucking amazing that came out of Comic-Con. It was amazing.
And I like when the heroes die. You know, like I like it when like the bad guy wins and the world blows up at the end, and because that never happens, because it's always like some miracle where it all just works out, you know. And so I hate that. So I like rooting for the bad guy and stuff. And I love the opening of Suicide Squad because I hated every actor, every character in the initial invasion of the island. It's like they're giving you the backstory of these characters. And I'm like, dude, you suck. I don't care about you. You suck. They all get slaughtered in the first 5 minutes or whatever. I was into it.
You're talking about the James Gunn Suicide Squad where they go to the beach.
Am I mixing them up?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, they're both called the same thing, so you know.
But yeah, but you know, once you got beyond, maybe I like that one, but the Will Smith one, when I saw that like you have these big name actors, and like what I was saying before about the main lead, you know, they're never going to cover their face or their, you know, their helmet or whatever. And it's a part of them needing screen
Will Smith
time.
never wears the Deadshot mask.
No, not ever, you know. And I was like, dude, this guy and the rest of the cast, they all have to get their screen time. They all have to get their monologue. I'm sure it's in the contract that they have a certain number of minutes of like the cameras on them, they're leading the scene, you know. And then like they're in the middle of this city destroying epic battle and they like pull into a dive bar. And I was like, okay, this is where.
Well, that's probably the best scene in the movie, though.
Oh God, I think that's when I went for a piss break or something. I was like, dude, now you're getting fucking screen time. I'm gonna go refill my whiskey coke in the lobby. You know, I'm just kidding. I wasn't drinking in the lobby.
Hey, lemon pie.
No, you were refilling in the lobby, drinking in the theater.
Drinking in the theater because
Lemon.
Fuck me! I can't believe I paid for this.
I was pissing in someone's popcorn. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I just couldn't like once they pull into the dive bar and they have like, oh, we're all going to give our backstories and we're going to act and be dramatic and like this is. I bet you they probably spent more time filming that than like anything else. I don't know, just to get the actors on the stage. But yeah, so I'm gonna probably leave off with that the Will Smith Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I just could not get into that at all. But I just got those three for worse for me. And I didn't want to mention movies that I haven't seen, but I heard Miss Marvel was horrible.
Well, that's not a movie.
Well, that's
you mean Captain Marvel?
That's there you go. Yeah, whatever.
Captain Marvel was mean spirited, but I think that people like I actually went to go see the Marvels because I was like shaking my fist at people who were angry on the internet, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go see it. I don't care, and I went to go see it. It was middle of the road girl superhero. Fine. Like I own Josie and the Pussycats. I've ordered Spice World. I enjoy seeing attractive people do cool shit. And so when I went to go see the Marvels, was it good? No. Was it disposable entertainment that was flashing lights and mildly entertaining? Yes. Were they nicer than Captain Marvel? Yeah. That movie got maligned for no reason, just because a bunch of big swinging dicks decided that they didn't like a girl movie.
I watch Spice World on mute.
Oh, of course. That's how I watch it too.
With a lot of popcorn butter.
We're going to move on to Canadian Spider-Man, but before we do, really quickly, Scotty, would you read that one from Represent This?
In the chat says, Superman 4 was so sad. What it went through in production. Reeve was really passionate about trying to correct the franchise, and then it turned into a mess. And and one of the things wasn't he like co-writer? And then he ended up directing a bunch of it too?
He wanted to put some money into it to get it made. Yeah,
did he? I hope he didn't.
Well, and the funny thing is like if you look at, let me go back to this. If you look at the suit, like that, they used one of his older suits because the production on this movie was so small. Like the budget was so small and terrible. Like look at this. If you look at this right here, they're supposed to be on the moon. Look at why are there shadows?
Why is there gravity?
They fucked up those shadows right there.
The shadows is because they have a shitty lighting kit, and the people didn't know how to light the fucking movie. There shouldn't be shadows on the moon.
No, there should be shadows.
The
shadows are cast way longer. The shadows on the moon are so long that the sides appear parallel because the source of the light is the sun, which is very distant. And so those shadows are obviously Earth shadows.
But I agree with you. I agree with you, Scotty. I was mixing a drink when you said that Supergirl is so boring. But I was trying to rush back to say Ellis is in this movie, and you said Ellis from Die Hard.
No, I'll be damned.
No, the most interesting. Hey, what's going on, Cyrus Blackwood?
Devin. What's up, dude?
Destroy Superman.
Dude, is that Devin?
That's Devin, yeah.
What's up, bro?
Destroy Superman now.
In a dual role. That is the voice. That is the voice of Gene Hackman, who plays Nuclear Man.
I don't know what that decision was all about. Devin says, why don't you read this one, Bobak?
Devin says, John Cryer gargles my balls.
Oh, dear goodness.
You leave Ducky alone.
Was he played Lex Luthor's nephew in Superman 4.
In Superman 4.
And then when he joined the CW or whatever, he played Lex Luthor in the Supergirl show. Yeah, with Melissa Benoist or whatever. Like he was Lex Luthor.
Yeah. I only remember from seeing clips of Infinite Crisis on Infinite Earths, the whole CW crossover.
Okay, well, Paul from Long Beach is obviously not a hater of the Marvels. I actually never saw that. But anyway,
that's what I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to say to Babak. The thing is, and I'm with you, I don't want to hate on any of the movies that I haven't seen. And so just as a quick rundown, and I'm sure that there are more, I never saw Black Adam. I never saw either of the Shazams. I never saw Catwoman because everyone said don't, and it won a Razzie. I haven't seen either of the Aquamans. What else? And I'm sure that there's more. But there are ones that I'm just like, I have a finite amount of time on this world, and I'm more of a Marvel guy. So
basically what you're saying is...
We ain't found shit.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue on with your worst.
With the worst?
We're still doing the worst, yeah.
I think I just named all of the movies that I refuse to see because I think they're the worst, but I don't want to say that they're the worst because I don't want to see them.
Okay, let me rephrase. Canadian Spider-Man, do you have any more on your list of ones you do?
Yeah. Oh, well, no, I think we covered. I mean, Captain Marvel should have been mentioned. Yeah, that was just horrible. I saw clips of Thor: Love and Thunder, and any Thor movie, the God of Thunder should not have love in the title of unless it's I love, smashing with my hammer.
It's the porn parody.
Yeah. But I mean, how about this? And I pose to you gentlemen this.
Yes.
Sequels of awesome movies like Hellboy, sequels that sucked and should have been so much the biggest disappointing sequels ever. And I want to say Hellboy 2 Golden Army. Oh. I didn't know anything about Hellboy, saw the movie, loved it. Hellboy 2 was so disappointing.
Really? Oh, that's interesting. Absolutely. You know what? We're going to have more to talk about that later. Yeah.
Disappointments, Hellboy 2 Golden.
I found Hellboy 2 a little but speaking of I found Hellboy 2 to be disappointing, but also just sort of building on number 2s from movies that were really awesome. I fucking ate up Sin City, Frank Miller's comic book movie. That was one of my favorites. And then when the much delayed and far too long after the original, when Sin City 2 came out, I desperately wanted to like it. And then when I finally saw it, I was just like, yeah, no, this was magic before the MCU, and now you've dropped this after the Dark Knight trilogy, you've dropped this after the beginnings of the MCU and the Avengers. This had a place at a time, and if you had followed it up almost immediately, because when they were making Sin City, they were touting how it was like, we can do this all in this studio and get it done in 3 months. Tops.
Yeah.
And then they waited 12 years to make it again, and it was like, yeah, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez has something to say to you, Scotty.
Get off my case, motherfucker!
That makes sense.
So Scotty, you chimed in on that one. Canadian Spider-Man or Scotty, any more bad pieces of shite you want to bring up before I have a couple more, but if you guys are...
Is anybody going to bring up Howard the Duck in their top?
God dang it, Scotty!
Towels, lotions, antibiotics.
Must be mating season.
Are we sharing a brain right now, Scotty? My finger was on the trigger for that one, and you said it. God damn it! Howard the Duck.
After you, I open the door. You walk through.
No, Howard the Duck's like the worst movie ever made. It's one of the worst.
I have it
movies
on
ever
DVD.
made.
Of course,
Me and my brother used to watch it as kids and just quote all the fucked up shit that Howard said. I was trying to put up the scene where he's getting sucked through the, you know, the where the earth is pulling him, and he goes through the duck girl in the bathtub with the duck boobs, but StreamYard would not let me load that clip. It's a puppet. It's puppet duck boobs, and it's like, nope.
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, it's at the beginning, and he's reading Play Duck. That movie is one of the worst movies ever made. Top 10 worst movies ever made.
But I love it. It's the same deal as with Barbed Wire. It's like, yeah, it's schlock. It's not winning any awards, but
it's an Academy Award nominated Tim Robbins in it too.
it does. And noted sex offender Jeffrey Jones.
And this is the best scene in the movie where Leah Thompson actually wants to fuck Howard, and they get interrupted. But she's trying to fuck him in that scene, which I don't know how that would have played out, but you know, it was a thing that happened.
Well, technically, ducks have a cloaca, so it would involve scissoring, from what I understand from biology class, and I don't know what Beverly's into. Anyway, can we move this along?
Okay, my last of the terrible movies. I agree with whoever said Joss Whedon's Justice League. That movie's an abomination. It was Bob Eck. I fucking hate that movie so much. It's such a piece of shit. I actually kind of do like the Zack Snyder 4-hour miniseries. I probably wouldn't have liked it had I not seen the original, the Joss Whedon cut, but it's actually a pretty good movie. Okay, so my last one is 2015's Fantastic Four. That movie sucks. The director, Josh Trank, is supposedly the biggest asshole in Hollywood. That's why he doesn't get any work anymore. Stupid, weird movie, a big mishmash of editing and reshoots that don't make any sense. I hate it. All right. So, Bobek, do you have any more before we move on to our bests? You're good?
That's the greatest chat comment I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, let's see. What do we got here? Howard the Duck is awesome. Is that the one?
That's not the one.
Leah Thompson
That's
and those
the
pink panic. Yeah, well, hey, man, you know, I'll show it to you again.
Three of my favorite
for Devin. Boing.
Thank
Wait,
you.
let me go to full screen.
Yeah.
Full screen, yeah.
Everybody mute your microphones and turn off your cameras for approximately 45 seconds.
I always
Garbage
thought that
Pail
Garbage Pail Kids was just the cards. Was it a comic?
I don't know if it was a comic. That's what I was wondering.
Okay, well, I guess it was.
Garbage Pail
I
Kids?
never
No, it was
thought-
trading cards.
Yeah,
It was trading
but
cards.
often when something
I remember,
gets big, they'll make the comic of it. And so for
Well-
like RoboCop I was only familiar. I only got the RoboCop comic after the movie came out because of the movie. I don't know if that was a comic before the movie came out.
No.
Yeah, it was a novel, right? RoboCop is like one of those dystopian
I think it was
novels.
just.
I think it was just the movie.
An original. It was
yeah.
original script.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe.
Love it. Love it.
But
Yeah.
Garbage Pail Kids, it was a
Oh, yeah,
takeoff
Garbage- they
on
were
Cabbage
fun, man.
Patch Kids, and they were
Yeah.
dolls first. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
when I got my back
never had
surgery, I had back surgery in 2014, and I can't remember who it was. It might have been Devin. Gave me a Garbage Pail Kid, Bent Ben, and it's the hunchback like Ben, hunchback Garbage Pail Kid. I was like, that is perfect. I still have
Dude,
that.
I think
card.
Garbage Pail Kids were the first things I ever started. I love to collect. That was like the first thing I collected, but I hated it because I got it on like the third season, and like the first two seasons were like impossible for a 5-year-old to get or whatever it was, you know. And man, I would see those. Because I teach, I still see the sticker because it was a card with a sticker.
Well, I was just about to say, isn't it one of those trading cards that was also a sticker? Yeah,
It was a sticker, and so a collector like won't open the package, you know. But like a kid opens up the package, trades the cards, pulls the stickers, puts it on the locker in the school. And so like at my school, like the lock, it's been there for 90 years, 100 years. So like you look at the lockers on the inside, and it's like Garbage Pail Kid stickers. I'm like, how much is that one? You know, I should start harvesting these.
You should
things.
try to get those off somehow, like scrape them off.
I just remove the door.
I'll take the whole door
Yeah,
off.
take the door off.
Dude.
Three
Who says
hinges.
no money in education.
Yeah, well, exactly
No,
right.
there are some schools I've heard that don't allow the kids to have any doors on their lockers so that everything can be seen. How crazy is that?
I don't understand that. Why would you want to do
Transparent.
that?
Just give it a transparent door.
Transparency. You don't want. Well, no, but
I
they-
am
they
an
won't be
open
able to see
book.
what-
Steal everything in my locker.
Yeah,
I'm an
pretty
open
much.
book.
Yeah, those lockers
Right.
are empty, dude. Even if someone puts something in there, they're empty.
Anyway, Canadian Spider-Man.
Give me all you got!
Listen,
Give me all you got!
Yeah, I'm gonna reload. I'll be right back.
Give us a couple of your favorites. I got a long list of favorites. If you guys do.
Oh,
that.
oh, where do you start? Well, let's start.
Oh, it's Lily. It's Lily.
I want. Let's start out with one of the first movies I ever saw in my life, and it was in the 70s. And it came from a comic strip. Annie, Little Orphan Annie.
Holy!
Oh,
I was
that's
not
right.
expecting that.
Yeah, I wasn't either,
Right?
but yeah, that is a comic. Yeah.
Annie
It's-
is the comic. I mean, and it might even be the first comic movie. Name a comic strip movie before Annie.
When was Annie? What year?
I was a small kid.
I thought it was 80.
80.
Because
Maybe,
when was
yeah.
Popeye? When was Popeye?
Yeah, Jeff
Oh, it
All
was
gets
long
it.
Before Popeye. Long before
Okay.
Popeye.
Well, what? Okay, so who was in it? Was it the one with Albert Finney and Tim Curry
Carol Burnett.
and Carol Burnett? Yeah, no, I thought that was 80ish.
Yeah,
Little
Harvey
Orphan
Weinstein.
Annie is from like the 1930s. It was from the Depression era.
Oh yeah. No,
we're talking
totally.
about the movie. Yeah.
I was a kid.
I think it was probably
was-
30s or 40s, like Annie.
Yeah.
It's a hard knock.
No, but the movie. The movie.
Yeah, isn't with Shirley Temple?
Oh shit! How
No.
many remakes of that movie have there been? I don't know.
I'm only familiar with the one with Carol Burnett in 1980.
Well, then there was the one with
Maybe
Jamie
I'm
Foxx
getting them
and
mixed
like
up. I'm not an expert on
Jamie
this.
Foxx.
Yeah, that's much later. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the Carol Burnett might have been the original movie in 80, but I could be wrong.
Little
I
Orphan
was-
Annie, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
I
But
remember
the
the
comic
Carol
strip
Burnett one with the
is
little
from-
girls, little girls.
Yeah,
and
that's
she's
right,
like
yeah.
drinking the booze. Yeah.
Yep. And so I'd like to start out with the Little Orphan Annie, of course. And in the chat, of course, Popeye with Robin Williams is another comic strip turned. But strictly speaking, comic book. Let's go Blade.
Yeah,
Let's
good call.
go Blade, of course. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. And I of course knew of Spider-Man. I didn't know.
Sorry.
82 for Annie.
Okay, yeah. So I was 10 years old, yeah. But I
Yeah,
didn't
the
know.
Little Orphan Annie was 1932.
Yes.
And the comic was from like 1924, based off an 1885 poem. Oh.
Ooh. And Little Orphan Annie was a live action or a cartoon?
Little Orphan Annie live action, yeah, 1932,
Okay.
hometowns to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Mitzi Green. So I had Shirley Temple, and that was someone else. But
Yeah.
Mitzi Green
Okay.
played Annie in that.
All right. So Trinity, and then of course Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire. Now I like the current Spider-Man, the British young kid. He's good, but Tobey Maguire is my Spider-Man because the other, and Andrew Garfield's too tall. I'm sorry. You can't be tall and hip to be Spider-Man. You're supposed to be my size and a geek. And his proportion, he was too lanky. No, Spider-Man's shorter and more athletic than Andrew Garfield. But Spidey and Blade and Wesley Snipes. I just rewatched Wolverine and Deadpool. And when Wesley Snipes as Blade turns around, I didn't know Blade was in it. That was a total surprise to me. It's like, holy fuck, Blade's in this movie. It's like, holy shit. Oh, yeah. I immediately stopped and refilled my beverage right there. It's like, all right, let's go. But Wesley Snipes, when he turns around and says, I am Blade, like, there is only one Blade. Like, yeah, sort of breaking the fourth wall there. Yeah, Blade. I didn't know he was a comic book hero, so now I'm going to have to go read the comics.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, no, Blade versus Morbius. This was a fall apart when it came to those not a Spider-Man movies. Is that Blade used to fight Morbius. Blade, I think, was a Spider-Man villain at one point. Because like there were vampires in New York, and Spider-Man encountered them.
Blade was a Spider-Man anti-hero, but yeah, you're right. He used to fight Morbius all the time. Yeah.
See, I think of the Matrix when I hear Morbius. I think Matrix.
Morpheus.
Oh, that's
like morphine, because you might need some.
Have you ever had a dream that you thought was real?
I don't want to mix. I don't want to mix substances.
Can I take both pills? I don't know. What is this? Can I get a purple pill? Put them together. Like, put me in the Matrix. Let me know that it's fake.
Purple.
So Ariane says Popeye with Rob Williams is the best. I am what I am.
He needs me.
Oh my God. She needs me. Anyway,
I love Robin Williams and everything. He was such a humane human.
And yeah, Paul in Long Beach, Altman doing Popeye. I think that's the seaside town that they built is still available as a tourist attraction. You can still go and visit it. I don't know where it is. And it is a weird thing to put a 4-color comic strip in the hands of Robert Altman. They were looking like Annie and Popeye came out around the same time. They were trying to capitalize on something. Maybe it could have been Superman in terms of what comic book properties do we have that are cheap that we can make movies out of. And Popeye came out of it. Annie came out of it. Superman. It's the same sort of thing that happened after Batman. Is they were like, oh, people will watch comic book movies? And that's why my number one with a bullet, my favorite superhero movie of all time, is Superman, 1978 with Christopher Reeve. So
good pick, brother. Yeah. Where the hurl? Oh, there. Oh yeah, yeah. It's a masterpiece of innovation, right? Would you believe a man could fly? And everybody did. I mean, I did. I was 1 year old, so
Well, I think that's something that people sort of, and it was one of the criticisms of Batman 66, like the Adam West Batman is, or maybe it was very much like the comic books, but they turned it into a campy comedy. And one of the things about Batman 78 is that it actually felt like how people felt about the character. So there was an optimism, a hope, truth, justice, the American way. If you go back and you watch the classic George Reeves Superman, it's like it does get a little hokey, but it never really talks about itself tongue-in-cheek. It is being earnest in its presentation. And I think that when you see Superman, like if you see Superman, just a picture of Superman, and you hadn't seen the movie and you weren't familiar with anything, it looks silly. But if you watch the mythology that is presented in that film, it feels exactly the way that I think that it was presented to me as a kid. And I think that those are what are the best superhero movies. And this dovetails into comic book movies. But like the original 2002 Spider-Man movie with Tobey, Sam Raimi directed, that felt like Spider-Man from when I was watching, oddly enough, like the 1967 cartoon, or Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, or even reading the comic books from the early 90s. Just felt the way I wanted it to feel. When I saw Tobey climb that wall for the first time, I was like, that's how it's supposed to fucking look. Not the one in the 70s where he's like...
Oh, those ones are great, though, man.
No, I didn't. Nicholas Hammond.
His webbing is like rope thick.
Swinging through web slinging through the city.
Yeah,
has to be the highlight of any comic book movie, I would argue.
Yeah, and
web
I think
slinging when they do it right.
Yeah,
yes,
the best.
Swinging through the city.
The Garfield ones, they tried to make it like a POV thing, which was kind of cool. But they were tail ending off that 3D craze, and then the Holland ones, they don't really show him swinging that much through any city in any of those movies. Not really.
He doesn't spend a lot of time in New York.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He's always like battling fucking aliens and stuff. But yeah. Anyway, sorry. You good for now, Scotty? You got another one?
Yeah, I'm good for now. Well,
I had a question for you, Scotty, in the chat.
Oh, go for it.
Oh, it's in the chat.
Oh, it's in the chat. Let's see.
Yes.
And why don't you read it, Canadian Spider-Man?
When flying around the world to save Lois Lane, did Superman go back in time, or did he turn back time for the whole planet?
He turned back time for the whole planet, right?
I think he turned back time for the whole planet.
Because you see everything moving, but I don't know.
Yeah, but it's an interesting question.
Worst part of the movie.
You know, unlike some people, I am open to the interpretation. I like the idea that Superman is the one going back.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what happened. Maybe we don't have to be so literal looking at it and saying, like, I know it visually represents the Earth turning backwards but maybe that's just so that the audience can be like, oh, I know what he's doing. It doesn't have to be a literal representation.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. It's up to you. It's up to the audience.
Someone posed that question in the chat the other day, and it's like, ooh, I had never considered that.
Well, it's like sometimes there are things that happen on screen and you'll see it and then you'll see it from another perspective and it's only back like 3 or 5 seconds. And it's like, yeah, the director is telling you that these things are going on at the same time, but the audience is made aware because they eventually match up. It doesn't mean that we've jumped backwards in time. Audience interpretation is still a thing. Like,
well, that scene is juxtaposing him spinning around the Earth with everything going in reverse too, though. So it's visually.
It does, and that's the thing, is that it does show. Like, I think in the
suit, flying back through time.
But that's what I mean, is that if he's flying back through time, then that means that from Superman's perspective, he's seeing the toothpaste go back in the tube for Perry White. It doesn't mean that it's actually literally doing it. It's just he is
his perspective.
Yeah, or from the audience's perspective of what he is doing. It's just a representation. I don't, but again, it's up to how literally you want to take that particular representation.
Yeah, that's well said.
Non-answer.
It is a non-answer. It's up to you, is what it is.
I think it's what because nobody knows the answer. I guess I don't even think the screenwriter or the director know the answer to that one.
Well,
they might not have.
Well, he knows everything.
Not anymore.
Actually,
fans tend to pick apart movies far more than the creators, the people that work on them, ever do.
Yeah. Well, but that's also like, I don't know. It is something that if you want, like, the passing of David Lynch, you watch a Darren Aronofsky movie, are these things actual representations of reality, or are they allegories or metaphors or representations to evoke an intellectual emotional response? Is it actually what you're seeing? And even in the most realistic, is Schindler's List completely in a black and white world except for one girl with a red dress? No. So like you can pick and choose and balance.
Yeah.
Also, we are talking about a man who can fly and breathe in space.
All right, I'm gonna bust. I have so many that I love.
Go, girl.
I'm gonna bust through my top 5 really fast. So my top. These are. I spent a lot of time thinking about my number 2, and it was really heartbreaking because, you know how when you watch movies, a lot of it has to do with where you are, what time in your life, who you're with, that really make you think fondly of those movies. These ones, like, I stripped that away and just like looked at them for what they are and what they made me emote and what they made me feel. So number 5, my number 5 favorite comic book movie of all time is Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2, a lot of people think Spider-Man 1 is better. I almost think they're equal. They're both so fucking good. They're filled with so much heart, and I love the color and the expressive nature and the sepia tone, and how like he really, Sam Raimi really made every shot look like a comic book, almost like every frame of those movies. And Tobey Maguire, to me, embodied Peter Parker. No one will ever be as good of a Peter Parker as he is. He wasn't written. Yes, cheers, Canadian Spider-Man. He wasn't written to be. He wasn't written to be the exact same Spider-Man with the quibs. But if you go back and watch those movies, he does have them. He does have, like let him go, Gobby. Like he has a lot of them. He just doesn't. He's not overboard with it because Sam Raimi realized this is a movie and not a comic book. So he wasn't talking to the audience, which would probably have gotten annoying. So I think
there were some quips. There were a couple.
That's what I'm saying. There were some great ones. He just didn't overdo it. I mean, Spider-Man 2 has the most comic book movie scene I think I've ever seen in a movie when Doc Ock is robbing the bank and he pulls open the safe and he's throwing bags of coins at Superman. That is straight out of a comic book right there, where the bags of coins are splattering all over the place. Like what bank vault has coins? But it was so comic book, you gotta love it for that shit.
What thief takes the coins from the bank?
Yeah, in the bags that are
they were gold.
Dollar symbol.
Oh, there you go. Fair enough.
But I think Spider-Man 2
that was back when we had the gold standard.
It has so much heart as well. Like there's so much heart. Tobey Maguire is so great in all three of these movies. Say what you want about the third one, his performance is always fantastic in these. And Alfred Molina, I never would have expected that would be like the perfect embodiment of that character, and he just was. Yep. He was perfect, and he was a bank robber. So moving on to number 4, The Crow. I fucking love this movie. Alex Proyas at his absolute best, following up this movie with Dark City, my favorite R-rated science fiction movie ever made. Brandon Lee would have become a megastar after this movie. It was guaranteed, pretty much. I love Michael Wincott as Top Dollar is such a great underrated villain. This the atmosphere, the soundtrack, as I showed already. The Ernie Hudson. Oh, this fucking movie, dude. It has everything I love about 1994.
Can't rain all the time. Can't rain all the time.
Yeah. No,
the record skips, dude. Get a new record. Come on.
That song is on this. I should skip it every time.
Just skip it. Just all you have to hear is that lyric. That's all you need.
Yep.
I did love that they were, because like talk about a movie of its time. This was the thing that for me brought goth, because 90s goth, right? Dude, I went from tie dye to all black. Right? Not that I went goth.
Well, you also got Bobek. You also in high school got me into Dark Horse Comics.
I love Dark Horse Comics.
Yeah, you got me.
I started on Dark Horse Comics. That's where it's at. But that's one of the things that I love is sort of the gothic. Like I don't think I ever saw daylight in The Crow. It was always night. It's always raining.
There was daylight once, but it was pouring rain.
Yeah, pouring rain. And they were like emo before emo was a word and it was still cool, it's great, But I just don't know about Brandon Lee's acting.
You've always said that.
I know. I couldn't get into it.
I actually think.
Let me tell you a little story about.
No, dude, he has some bad lines. Like, let me tell you a story. I know you can remember. No, he has some bad lines, but when it comes to screen presence, he could have been a Keanu Reeves.
He looked great, dude. Oh, dude, I think I could be Keanu Reeves, bro.
No, but you know what I mean. Like he had screen presence. He had his father's martial arts skills. Like he was really good looking.
That's what I was wondering, dude. Could that guy whoop ass?
Yeah, no, he was born into Bruce Lee's martial arts.
Yeah, Bruce trained him.
Yeah, he trained.
You trained by.
He had no choice.
No, if you watch the movie Rapid Fire, if you watch Rapid Fire, which came out a year before this, like he's doing all his own martial arts in that movie.
Isn't there one he did with Dolph Lundgren too?
No, with Powers Booth. Oh, Dolph Lundgren is
Laser Mission
Showdown in Little Tokyo, which is really good. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He also did Laser Mission.
I love The Crow. It has a special place in my heart. And I did, like I said, I did a film and vinyl on that. If you want to check it out on the channel. Number 3 for me, what's that?
The Crow with the comic, was it a Neil Gaiman story, or who was the?
No, it was James O'Barr.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, James O'Barr wrote the graphic novel. Yeah. And then he had a lot, dude. Him and Brandon Lee became really good friends on the set because James O'Barr had a shit ton to do with that movie. Not this new abomination that I hear is just a fucking piece of shit. But so this one was tough for me because at one point in my life, this was my favorite comic book movie ever made, but it's been surpassed. And that's X-Men 2, X-Men United. It's just such an upgrade from X1 as far as like budget, visuals, color palette, character development. First one has no character development, even though I love that movie. X2 was, I saw it in Australia in the theater, and it was the first time in my life that I could, nowadays you can have a beer in any American cinema, but at the time you couldn't. So we were crushing beers and watching X2. And that movie blew my mind how good it was. The Berserker Wolverine scene in the mansion was just everything that you wanted. I grew up reading X-Men, Spider-Man, and Flash. Those are the only comics I read. I didn't read Batman, anything like that. So finally seeing kind of like Wolverine go crazy. The reason it's not higher up is because I hate what these Bryan Singer X-Men movies did with Cyclops. They need to make a proper X-Men movie where Cyclops is the Captain America, where he's the lead, you know, but they refuse to do that for some reason. But anyway,
Wolverine's always been the bad boy, and everyone loves the bad boy.
Well, you know, Hugh Jackman just like stole the screen from everybody in that first movie. So they just
incredible.
Now they're just Wolverine movies, you know.
Anything bad about Hugh Jackman, dude? That guy sings, he dances, he's dramatic, he's funny, like he's an old school performer. You know, like
Les Miserables. He was good in Les Miserables.
Yeah, and I can't watch a musical, but dude, he was good.
No, I watched it for him. That and there was titties.
Come on, Bobak. You know The Greatest Showman is your favorite movie ever made.
Dude, my mom keeps never seen it, but my mom is just like, oh, The Greatest Showman, The Greatest Showman. Maybe I can watch it.
Number 2 for me. This one's stuck around for 10 years. The 10th anniversary is coming up in 2 months, and it's Captain America: The Winter Soldier, baby. Oh, this movie is just legit. Super, super tight script, great writing. It's the best you'll ever see Steve Rogers in the MCU. Just cutthroat, like hard, like violent, you know, action. He just takes no prisoners. He's just murdering motherfuckers on that opening scene on that big boat. Like he's just knocking people off and hitting them with that shield. There ain't no coming back from that shit, you know. It's just so well choreographed, all the action. The Winter Soldier, if you read the comics, you know that's Bucky. If you didn't, you're just like, wow, what a cool villain. Yeah,
I was going to say, I love that Bucky got screen time in that. You know, like it was all about the Winter Soldier. You know, Bucky was just such a like a bro drama gone wrong. You know.
Yeah, and it was the introduction of Falcon, which became such a beloved character in the MCU. Yeah, I love Winter Soldier, man. It had that 2 Days of the Condor vibe to it, like, you know, espionage, stress, you know, spy thriller, but then great action, great martial arts. Wonderful. Okay, this one, this might be a hot take. This might be a hot take, but my favorite comic book movie of all time is Batman Begins.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
How did you know? Oh yeah, because we did a show.
Because we talked about it.
We did a show on your channel. Yeah. I just think this movie's perfect. I think it's just like genius. I love the cross-cut non-linear editing in the first 45 minutes to not make you feel like you're watching an origin story, but you're watching his childhood, you're watching his training, and then you're watching what's going on in real time, all at the same time in this juxtaposed kind of mishmash. And then it's the only Batman movie I think ever made where Batman's the main character, and so is Bruce Wayne. You know, you care about him as a character. You care about him. You see what he goes through with Alfred as far as trying to maintain this rep of like kind of an asshole playboy. but he's also like fumbling and making mistakes as Batman. And then by the end, he's fully embraced the Batman persona, but he also embraces Bruce Wayne. I just think it's like a perfect comic book movie. So yeah, I don't know if that's a hot take or not. Batman, I mean, Dark Knight's great, and I'm sure we'll talk about that as we move on. But fuck, man, Batman Begins is just like
Batman Begins, yeah,
hell yeah. Bobette, go for it.
Okay,
You're on-
we'll
you're on
unmute.
mute.
Okay,
You're on
there we
mute.
go.
There we
Unmute
go.
First. Unmute, then talk. That's the right order, isn't it? I got to jump on the. I do like Batman Begins, but the Batman that I got into a little bit more. It was I couldn't quite get into. I never liked the whole thing where like the trainer of Batman was like this like martial artist guy. Whatever. I just didn't like him in the comics anyway. But I like the Batman as like old school.
That's good. No, that's great. Yeah,
a bit more noir. And I wasn't planning on talking about it since you were talking, since you brought up the Batman. As
No, that's
you're talking about.
Detective Batman.
I like
That's
the
great.
Batman. Yeah, it's more because Batman is the Dark Knight, but he's a detective. Like originally, he's a detective. He's getting the clues, trying to figure it out, and of course you'd get into the fights and stuff. But it morphed. The character has morphed over 100 years or whatever it's been almost. And, so you've got like the detective from the serial comic strip. And then it gets a bit more of like the tech gadget action, the 60s classic spoof of Batman. And I think that they probably did all the satire tongue in cheek. I'm hoping, I don't know. It was just camp, but it was great for what it was. And then the reboot, and I'm going to come back to this at the end. I'm going to start with Batman. I'm going to end with Batman. But I love 1989 reboot. Going to get to more later. But the Batman is awesome just because it's kind of like really taking you along. And like, this is the Batman that cannot take on Superman. Like
This is the Batman that'll get demolished by Bane instantaneously.
He doesn't get the monologue.
Skinny fucking Edward, sparkly vampire.
And the casting. The thing is, I didn't like the casting. I get he played a vampire, therefore he's Batman. But like they kind of like pulled it off.
He's fucking great.
He's great. He's great. And I kind of didn't even want it to be good, but I liked it. But another one that I wasn't planning on talking about that was Scotty. I don't know. Did you bring up Sin City?
Yeah.
Dude. The thing that I love about Sin City, number one, it's not superhero. It's not like Marvel DC Universe, which everything else that I have. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for bringing that shot up, because Frank Miller as an artist and writer, like with his graphic novels of Sin City, it is a unique drawing style. Like, I don't know if you have any of the comic. It's black and white. It's very just angular. It's light and shadow. It's such a unique art style. How do you bring that to the screen? And I think that Sin City really did it really well. Just shooting in grayscale, highlighting a certain colors, but it's almost like the 300, which was another graphic novel that brought to the screen that really did a great job of just showing. It looks like frame by frame,
similar technique.
This was the comic. And we're just redoing the comic. We're not making a film. We're bringing the comic to the screen. So, and Sin City is just such a gritty. It almost, because Bruce Willis, I think, is in it. It almost reminds me of Pulp Fiction, in that it is one of those noir,
anthology.
Exactly. And I love those old school detective stories. The dame walks into the office. She was a bombshell knockout. I knew she was trouble from the moment I laid eyes on her. She pulled her titties out and gave me an assignment.
I smacked her on her ass to see what she'd do.
But that's one of the greatest beatdowns at the end of the movie. Spoilers for Sin City, but it came out in like what?
Head explodes.
No, not how the head explodes. How he goes and he beats the shit out of that yellow bastard, and he says, "I take his weapons," and he blows his hand off, which is holding the gun. And then he says both of them, and he punches into his crotch and rips off his dick. And it's just like, you are kidding me.
Nick Stahl is great as Yellow Bastard. Too.
Nick Stahl, yeah.
Really good in that movie.
Gritty violence, and I hate it when violence is fantasized and eroticized. Horrible, you know. Like I want like the worst. Like it's bad, you know. But you know, but also just having that that story. I don't want to say the weave, but the weave, where it's multiple storylines, characters. Like they're not even intersecting; they're crossing paths in the same world. The stories are related, even the characters don't actually get to know each other from the different stories and stuff. And it's just such great storycraft. And I love that you could actually not only bring that story, the sort of the anthology, multiple different stories all tied together, like Pulp Fiction, but also just really get that art style. So I'm really glad, I'm really glad you brought that up. But I wasn't planning on talking about it. A couple of things I'll just try to go through a little faster that I was planning on talking about. I'll start with Man of Steel. Just nice. It's an easy one for me. I think I already kind of covered it before, you know, but Henry Cavill for me is like my Christopher Reeves, you know. And the thing that I love about Man of Steel as a I'm gonna call it a film because I distinguish between film art and movie product.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say for me it was almost like it was a film for me because of the way, just the pacing, the tone, even just the visuals. It was so like the whole opening part, you know, where it's almost like a montage of just showing Superman's backstory.
Well, no, it's written by Jonathan Nolan, who also did Batman Begins, so it has that similar opening where you're seeing like the backstory, but then you're also seeing things in the future juxtaposed. Very similar structure at the beginning. Yeah. Sorry.
I appreciate it. And a big part of it for me was the music. The music was just mesmerizing, you know, and it just got me into this like hypnosis state of like Middletown, you know, middle America, Kansas farm boy, you know, like happens to be, and like just feeling so good about it. And like, you know, mom saying you're different. You can't stay here. You know, you can't stay on the farm. You know, you're special. Like, go out there, make your mark on the world. And it just felt so warm and fuzzy and cozy. And I just really love the presentation of it. I just wanted
Scotty,
to be like,
have you ever heard anybody describe Man of Steel as warm and fuzzy and cozy?
Just recently.
But I really got into this like zone, you know, like there's action and stuff, but like when you go into the Arctic and he's in his like super cave, like I don't know what the fuck we call it, the crypto castle, I don't know.
Fortress of Solitude.
Fortress of Solitude, yeah. I don't think he really has one of those in this universe.
Well, it's the Superman ship.
It's a spaceship, yeah. It's different.
But like when he's walking into that Arctic landscape and stuff, I mean, it just felt amazing to me. You know, like, I don't know. I just love being in the movie. Like, I didn't really, that's just the feel of it. You know, it was just great. But love Man of Steel. Great reboot, you know, because how do you even do justice to like the originals? And so I really think they brought it there. Another thing that really kind of for me captured that visual feel was Guardians of the Galaxy. This is one that I saw because I personally love 3D done well, and for me, like being in the theater, big screen, so many pinks and blues and purples and just, you know, all the visualizations of space and stuff, you know, everything was so gorgeous. And
it's the most visually expressive Marvel trilogy ever. Yeah.
It really is, you know, and even the characters, like, okay, fine, you got like paint on, great. It's not a green screen, you know, it's like this paint on an actress and stuff, you know, green people, blue people, whatever, you know, everything's so awesome. and there's so many just fun things about it. The way that I described the Superman soundtrack being super important because it was so mesmerizing, really, you know, tranquilizes you and stuff. But I think Guardians of the Galaxy probably has one of the best. It's not even a soundtrack; it's a playlist. And you know, like they're bringing back.
I'd agree.
Got this beat, you know, like all these
Cherry Bomb.
You know,
I was so angry.
Like a cassette tape. You know, but it
That's right.
it was also heartwarming. You know, just like, oh, this is the cassette tape of the soundtrack that my mom gave me
From his
And I
mom.
remember
Yeah.
making tapes for people. Like we used to make
That's
tapes for
right.
people. You know,
Dude,
it's crazy. And then burn CDs for people. Now it's like, bro, let me it's like text you the Spotify. But like it used to take some heart and time, you know. And I just love that that's the catalyst of the story, this personal memento from his mom, and it's this great playlist that we can all bop along to, and the visuals would just I could get lost in them. And I love space. You know, give me a good Crab Nebula any day of the week, dude. I'm done. I'm like, woo, it's so beautiful.
Bobak, when the first Guardians movie was set to release, you know, everybody had seen the trailer. It looked like a blast. They had the Hooked on a Feeling song, was I think the song Hooked on a Feeling. Yeah, but I honestly, I had never heard of the comic. I'll tell you right now. In 2014, I had never heard of the comic.
It was one of those spin-off comics in the MCU. It was probably like a Surf Rider spin-off or something.
Maybe. Yeah. No, I think it was.
I don't know.
I think it was a Beta. It was like a Beta Ray Bill thing or something like that.
It was a spin-off of the spin-off. It was probably like the Fantastic Four.
What a
like
good movie.
But Bobak, me and the guys, because we wanted to see it, we thought it looked goofy and fun. We had a space opera marathon Friday nights where we watched 7 movies leading into the next morning, getting drunk. And then we woke up Saturday, we watched a couple more, and then we went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy. It was like me and Owen and Devin and Josh and Gabe. And dude, like we were so we walked out of that movie going, we need to keep the space opera marathon going. This movie was so fucking fun. Like, that movie is one of the original Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the funnest movies ever.
It is.
Agreed.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. Just great all around good time. And I didn't even see it coming. Like, I'm always a latecomer. I'm not the early adopter, you know? So it's like, people were like, whoa, it's so great. And I was like, yeah, you're stupid. But I watched it and I was like, wow, this is so great.
You're lucky if you're a late comer. I'm an early comer. You know?
I like to vet things first, but yeah. Garden Galaxy, beautiful, a lot of fun, you know, love Sin City.
Sorry, it just had to happen.
As long as you bring it, you know.
It always does.
That's right. But something else that I really enjoyed, like, again, and this is like IMAX 3D, Doctor Strange showed me. I loved it. I loved it so much visually.
Think about
and also
that.
The storytelling wasn't bad. Like, I was involved. Like, there was no bathroom break for me, you know. And the cool thing that I liked about it was it was bringing the metaphysical, like the pan-dimensional aspect, into, you know, this universe of superheroes. Like, I think before we were talking about how there's vampires in the superhero world. And I get that, but I never would put the two together. You know, like I think of one as more supernatural, another one's superhero, you know, but that exists. And same thing with this, multi-dimensional Doctor Strange. I never read any one of the comic books, right? But watching this, I was like, I almost might even want to go back and read a couple, but it was so amazing. And I thought this was a lot of like green screen done well, because what they're doing technically is they'll have like one image, and then they'll open up the portal and they'll put a second image there. So it's a little bit more technical than just a single image on the green screen. And I thought they did that so well. The other thing I loved about it was the dimensions of, like, you can throw a portal like on a ceiling or a floor, and then it's like, I got to go through this wall, but then I'm going to drop that out of that ceiling. And that must have been a bitch to film. Like,
well, I think what they did, they took a play from Wally Pfister's handbook when he did when he filmed Inception, where you have it's a lot of opticals. It's so many more opticals than it is. Like, some of the characters are green screen, but the opticals are all like in camera edits.
Right. So they'll just have someone jump over here, and then another person will drop down from a little height.
Yeah, but everything, all those collapsing cities and stuff, it's fucking cool, man.
Well, and there were a lot of treadmills as well, from what I remember from behind the scenes.
Okay, yeah, you know, the run around stuff. And, you know, so, I mean, visually, that was something amazing for me, just seeing, like, but also just having all the metaphysical, the magic, and all that, you know. And I really dug that. I thought it was a little different from, like, the superhero universe where it's not really like mystical. It's more sort of like I'm an alien, or like I've got super government tech, or I'm super rich. What's your superpower? I'm very rich.
Yeah,
Batman. But
Batfleck.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my God. Anyway, I love Doctor Strange. Thought it was amazing. Guardian of the Galaxy, Man of Steel, Sin City. I mean, I'm looking for my thing. Okay, I'm gonna end it on, for me, my original Batman, 1989, Michael Keaton, because this was when, in the first place, I was ready for something to be like cultural. It was a big deal because, like we were talking before, Batman was camp. Batman was a joke. Batman was straight up 1960s, and then suddenly treating it like a serious story.
Dude, Bill Murray was almost cast in Batman '89 to make it a goofy movie.
That would have been just keeping it funny.
Michael
and stuff.
Keaton was goofy. Michael Keaton previously had been Mr. Mom. He was goofy.
He was
Gung Ho, Night Shift.
Yeah, but he has a better physique than Bill Murray does.
Well, it's not even the physique; it's just a matter of
presence.
Presence.
Yeah.
Bill Murray has droopy eyes, and Michael Keaton is a bit more piercing. Like even behind the mask, he's got a little
more of a bird.
There's something a little bit more severe about Michael Keaton. If it had been Bill Murray, I think that Bill Murray. People talk about it, but I don't think that Bill Murray would have been good as Batman. But then again, at the time, nobody said that Michael Keaton was going to be good as Batman.
Bill Murray was big,
Michael
he was
Keaton
Mr.
looked
80s.
great in the bat suit. I just didn't like his Bruce Wayne. But anyway,
I love his Bruce Wayne.
Bobette, continue. I'm sorry, we were just interjecting.
Oh yeah, no, but just to actually take this character and sort of make it serious, and because this is still in the era of practical effects and stuff, how do you show the Batmobile? That was a big deal. Like the Batmobiles had iterations and stuff, and so just to make it look believable, because I feel like before it just was super camp. It's like, oh, I've got a gadget for that and all this, and he's got the gadgets, and all this, but it was really great to see that, and I feel like that rebooted the whole Batman everything. Because of that movie, we've had 20. It's been rebooted a couple of times since then, but it was drowning. The whole franchise was drowning, and it really brought it back. One thing that I just gotta put out there. I don't know if anyone ever remember. You guys, we all remember Jack Palance. But he's been. I think he's been forgotten, and he used to be
one-arm push-ups.
Scariest dude. That guy was a badass, and I remember him as being the scariest man in America. When he did horror or something, and so him playing the Joker's mob boss guy or whatever, when he's coming around, he's got his hands on you and he's praising you, I'm like, dude, this guy's getting it strangled, and it's
curly.
Yeah, you are my number one.
But he was also the guy who shot Shane. He was almost. Him and Robert Mitchum were on the same level during the 50s, 60s, 70s, and then they sort of they faded but came back and not to a level of Frank Gorshin or anything like that, but they did, and then when I saw Jack Palance was an intimidating figure, and then he was in Cops and Robertsons.
I'm gonna have to go watch those. But I did love him in Batman.
You talking to me? Dude, Robert Mitchum could have been a good Batman cartooned voice.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
No, but that Batman '89 is legendary.
Love it. Yeah, Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I mean, I don't know if it's a Michael Keaton movie or Jack Nicholson movie.
Yeah.
Well, Nicholson was top billed. Nicholson was top billed in the movie.
It's a Robert Wool movie.
Michael Keaton was a lesser actor at the time.
Yeah.
For sure. No, I understood why. I was just
Yeah. No, but and just really seeing the Joker also, brought to, because the Joker is a comic character. He's silly. I think only the Riddler is more ridiculous. Did Jim Carrey play Riddler?
No.
Anyway, I'm not even. I would say that was one of the worst films, but I feel like
Jim Carrey was the best part of that movie, in my opinion. Like,
Oh, yeah.
he was fantastic as the Riddler.
He was hilarious.
Nicole Kidman was better.
Yeah.
Ariane says agreed. There was something about Bill Murray and Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Well,
No,
Bill
for
Murray's
sure.
great in Ghostbusters, but
Yeah.
Absolutely, but was Peter Venkman ever going to be Batman?
That'd be funny. Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman. Well, I can't do. I don't know how to.
Yeah, I don't have a Bill Murray impression either.
One last thought is Alfred Pennyworth, the butler, has also had iterations, and the latest, like I think it's like a Pennyworth TV show or something, you know.
Oh,
and
right.
there's the newer Batman movies. Pennyworth went from being speaking the Queen's English, very posh upper crust butler, to my Cockney mate, yo, we rough towels it in the big one, you know. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Pennyworth is a distinguished gentleman, and I like the older movies where he was still kind of
Michael.
it's not
I think it was Michael Gough. Was it
Michael
Gough?
Goff?
Michael
I don't know how to
Gough
pronounce this.
played him
Yeah,
brilliantly.
Go?
They just
Like
they just
Van Gogh?
didn't-
I don't know.
They didn't write him very well, but he played the part perfectly. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm not saying he's the best Pennyworth, but it's just I like the old Pennyworth. Like I'm not getting into this new like I was an MI6 agent in the wall, and you know, like I was Dirty Dozen's.
He started that with that show Gotham or whatever. He's like, yes,
what it
I
was?
was a secret agent.
Yeah, just like I'm sorry, he does not speak Cockney, dude. He's a fucking butler.
Yeah,
Well,
but I
they
liked
hint-
Michael
they actually
Caine.
They hint at it with Michael Caine, where he's like, "My friends and I were in."
No, but that's
Burma,
what I'm saying.
and
Like
we
I'm not
found
getting into
a
the new.
ruby
I'm
the
not
size
into
of
this
a
new Pennyworth.
tangerine.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'm not
Played
into
by
the
Queen
Pennyworth. I just
Latifah next.
yeah. But I'm gonna end it up with Batman
Master
89.
Wayne, some
Can't
men
get better.
just want to watch the wood burn.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one at a time. We all have our favorite Alfred Pennyworths. It doesn't mean we have to get into a scrum.
We've been doing so well, but once we started talking Michael Caine, I just couldn't shut up. That was my
I know.
fault. I'm
Michael
sorry.
Caine.
Michael Caine. Is he a sir? Do we have to call him sir?
I think
I hope so.
Well, the Brits, they love it. They like knight anyone. They're like, boy, you've got viewers? 30,000 views.
Yeah,
Sir,
I'm knighted.
30,000
That's because I
views.
live in Canada. I'm a subject of
Wait,
the
and
British
do
Empire.
you guys have knighthoods in Canada?
No, you have to be. No, I'm just messing
It's
around.
just a British thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, history teacher, don't get me started. I have a lot of questions.
Bobak, this is the first time on the show. We've had two people from Southern California on the left and two people from Canada on the right. I love it. It's amazing.
It's
amazing.
weird that the Canadians are on the right.
I know, right?
Well, I mean,
We all know
from my
California,
side,
though.
from my view. Yeah.
No. I just mean politically. It's a bad joke. It's a bad joke.
Oh,
California's
okay.
pretty liberal, dude. We'll kind of battle that right and left.
I know. You know what? Steve and I are probably fairly right wing, even though we're northern.
Oh, yeah, no.
Well, you know what? Your security.
Like my
you're
firearms.
probably not going to be the 51st state, so you're fine.
Oh no!
I want a Whataburger. I want Whataburger.
I want
It's
In and
not
Out.
that good.
In and Out in Ontario.
I want to
Yeah,
earn
ain't
American
coming anywhere
dollars.
out of the Southwest, dude. It's a local family. But what I love about Canada is we invaded 4 times and lost every time. You know, So
Yeah.
it's not like, you know what I mean. So it's
We
not
don't
like-
hold a grudge. Well, come on, let's.
We're
We'll
not-
just.
I'm saying
Expecting
is
it
that
now.
what's all this talk about taking over? Like it hasn't worked before. Why would it work now? You know, like what are you gonna do? Mark in? You know,
Scotty,
If
would you
there's
read this-
if
would you read this one from Ariane, por favor?
who's going?
Can
Scotty.
you read this one from Ariane?
Me. Okay. Era Boise says, I agree. I enjoyed Spider-Man. And fun fact, I did the Warner Brothers tour and saw the kiss scene set. Beautiful. Absolutely lovely. That is that's something that I would adore to do those sort of tours
That's the
to be
scene
able to
where
see those locations.
Kirsten Dunst's tits are completely soaked, so they look like probably 10 times bigger than they actually are.
Well, it was like a Jennifer Aniston's Friends thing.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know you did that, Ariane. That's
No,
awesome.
but that's rad. That's amazing.
I love to do tours like that. Yeah. Who's next? Canadian Spider-Man.
Spidey?
Some of your other shitty ones.
No. We're going with the best. We're shooting for the moon.
Well,
Basil.
I want to say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We're doing best. Sorry.
I want to reinforce what Bob was saying about Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, the scene with him listening to the Walkman on, and it's like, wait, he's wearing a Walkman? What? And he's skipping through and kicking rats and out of the way with the music, and I'm Star-Lord, damn it. No, that's just what a fun, and I'd never heard of them. I never knew it was a comic book. But absolute shout out to Guardians of the Galaxy and Doctor Strange. The same thing with Doctor Strange. I love magic. Dungeons and Dragons 1984 right here, Gary Gygax, and now Doctor Strange does all these things. So that was another character that blew my mind with. And I gotta say, the actor, what's his name? Cuthbert, Benjamin Cuddlebert or something.
Oh, Benjamin Cumberbatch?
That's him.
Thank you.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He's fantastic. He did unknown to me, and he just captured that role perfectly. But I definitely want to reinforce your points on those. But also, let's talk about some men. Let's talk about Men in Black, and let's talk about Mystery Men.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to FKHC 2005 before we get into this.
Hello. Yes, good friend of ours as well.
Thanks for being here. Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah. Men in Black, and I can separate the actor from the character, Will Smith, whatever. Men in Black. Excuse me. Men in Black was a fun, great, just adventure. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't particularly brilliant or anything like that, but it was fun, and it sort of went somewhere that we hadn't gone before as an audience. Sort of like the first time you see Back to the Future. Oh, that's something new. There's a whole government agency devoted to keeping track of the aliens on Earth. That's, of course there is.
Everybody that works, every actor that works with Barry Sonnenfeld, who's the guy that did Men in Black, says he likes to get people in and out of the theater. Hour and 30 minutes every movie, and I respect him for that.
I absolutely appreciate that. If you can't tell your story, it's absolutely. So, Men in Black, and
that's a good one. That's a good one.
And Tommy Lee Jones. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones is. What? I'm gonna say it. I'll put Tommy Lee Jones up against Robert De Niro. I will put Tommy Lee Jones up against Robert De Niro. Absolutely. I like him. And
there is an excellent movie called Space Cowboys, and by excellent movie, just based on the cast.
Yeah,
and you've got Clint Eastwood, James Garner, Donald Sutherland, and Tommy Lee Jones, and it is a powerhouse of your three classic actors, and then Tommy Lee Jones, who sort of overlaps a bit, and all four of them hold their own. It is stellar.
Yes,
Tommy Lee Jones is obviously when they go in those flashback scenes, you see that he's the youngest because obviously he was.
Yes,
but I love the way that movie ends with him just being like, "This is my dream. I'm just staying here." Spoilers! I love it. I actually really like Space Cowboys.
Space Cowboys is worth watching.
Yeah, I'm glad
for the legends.
Oh, absolutely, it is. Even if you have to pay $10. And no, seriously, you can't even. Yeah, it's probably. I haven't been to a movie in a long time.
I got the DVD, so I don't fucking care.
And I want to say, Mystery Men. Mystery Men.
Yeah.
That came for me. I had no idea. It came out of nowhere, and I went to see it with someone had it on at their house or something, and I saw it the first time. It's like, holy shit! What is this?
Hi, Lily. Hi, Lily. Hi, girl.
Hello.
Hi, sweetheart. Lift her up a little bit. I can't see her.
Hello.
Hi, baby. How
Hello.
you doing, sweetheart?
Hello.
Oh, God, you're getting bigger every week. Bigger every week. Oh, you're adorable.
Well, and I think Mystery Men came from the Flaming Carrot comic book.
Which Cardinal Sin, who,
God rest.
Shout out to Cardinal Sin.
Shout out to Cardinal Sin.
He introduced me to the Flaming Carrot.
And Cardinal Sin was such a punk rock guy. That was a punk rock comic, indie press, same as Men in Black. Like Men in Black, hell, I can say hell. The Mask is in the same sort of category, and those movies veered so far away from the source material, except for the basic structure of where they were coming from. Like the Men in Black fought demons, fought ghosts, fought aliens, because the creators were like, isn't this going to get boring if it's aliens every week? Same deal with the Mystery Men, which was not like the Mystery Men that you see in the movie. I don't think. Maybe the Shoveler.
I was going to say
the Blue Raja.
That was my favorite. The Shoveler was my favorite character.
Shoveler's my favorite by far. Yeah.
I have a huge everyone who knows me, and if you don't know me, you don't know me. I love Janine Garofalo, always have, always will.
The bowler.
And her dad's skull is in the bowling ball. Amazing.
Superpowers, right? She's the only one that has like a superpower.
Well, no.
The other guy turns invisible.
The invisible guy. The only problem is that you can't look at him if he turns invisible.
She's the only one that has like a strength. Like her father's dead corpse or whatever is in this bowling ball.
Right, but it's not her power. She's just in possession of a.
I just mean she's the one that can like
do stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Mystery Man has like the funniest opening act maybe of any movie ever made. That's a comic book movie where they're going in there to save Greg Kinnear and they just fucking fry him.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that you don't feel that badly about it because he's being so abusive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the spleen.
I don't. That's Pee-wee, right? Pee-wee.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like the spleen. I don't like the farting and the warts and all that stuff. But
I'm okay with it.
Or Ben Stiller's just like a guy who gets mad, but
but at the end he actually does. He actually does exact his. He exacts his fury, and I like how Tom Waits is like Q. Yes. He's the guy with the non-deadly weaponry. It was amazing.
I was late to the party on Mystery Men because I was in boot camp when it came out. So I think I saw it maybe 2 or 3 years after it came out, and it had the Smash Mouth All-Star song at the end, and I'm like, wasn't that for Shrek? And I'm like,
nope. It was originally, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Right. And Ben Stiller, I mean, yes. I'll watch just about anything he's in. You know.
See, there's two types of people in the world, Steve. There's people that like Ben Stiller and people that don't. I love Ben Stiller. I'm with you, brother.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy him, and again, yeah, just the novelty of it. I hadn't known of them as a comic book, and I didn't know that they were a thing. And then so I really had. I guess it depends on what expectations you have going into the movie. See, going into Batman, going into Spider-Man, we have expectations. Having no knowledge, no baseline, no base of knowledge for Mystery Men, I was expecting nothing and was blown away, and it was fun. And yeah, Janine Garofalo. I mean,
dude, the bowler's so she's like that's the sexiest that she's ever been. Right.
I would probably say, not that I would live with her. I don't recommend living with women, but yeah, I was totally blown away with the whole cast, and yeah, she was sexy. She was absolutely sexy in that. Yeah.
Do you know who did
her and Molly Ringwald, man?
Well, what? Oh, dude, yeah. Don't even get me started on the redheads.
Right?
But
Yeah, her
you
and
know,
Molly.
what comic press did Mystery Men? It wasn't a Dark Horse, was it? I don't.
I
think
was
so.
going to say Dark Horse, but no. Okay.
It might have
don't
been Bob
I
Eckert, but I'm
don't
not
know.
sure. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure about that one. All I know is like Aliens, Predator, Terminator from Dark
Yeah.
Horse.
Okay. I only put your name into the zeitgeist because you got me into Dark Horse. I didn't mean to say you knew everything about it, but hey, Ben, this is one of
Jerry Stiller doesn't even like Ben Stiller.
No, this is Ben is the co-host of Flights and Flicks that we do once a month, and he said, "Yeah, Jerry Stiller," and he also said Dark Horse. Ben knows everything about comics, so yes, I guess Mystery Men was definitely Dark Horse because he would know. So,
okay.
Hey Ben, good to see you, brother. Thanks for being here, man. Awesome. So who do we have next? Who's up? I can't even remember. Like, where are we at this point in time? I will go. That's fine. I'm gonna throw out all the rest of my good ones because we still have to get to better than average or whatever. But so if anybody thinks this is not a great comic book movie, come and see me and we'll talk about it. Dread from 2012.
Hells yes.
Dread
I
2012
actually wanted
is
to talk about it. I'm glad you brought it up.
it's a fucking masterpiece. Hey, Bobek, you sound a little muffled.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm trying to reposition. Baby's got to go to bed.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just want to let you know. Dread 2012. I get, they call it Dread 3D. It's a fucking masterpiece. It's very similar to a movie I think that came out a year before it called Raid or The Raid. It's basically like a bottle episode, if you guys know what that is, where it's just one location the entire time. You never, Scotty, what's the city called?
Good lotion.
Mega City 1.
Mega City 1. Yeah, you only really see it when they're driving their motorcycles to get to the location because it was a low budget movie, but goddamn, did they use that budget fucking perfectly? Oh, I fucking love Dread.
Well, it's also there have been comparisons and criticisms about Dread versus The Raid. If I'm not mistaken, and it really doesn't matter because they're completely unrelated.
No, one
productions.
All movies, one gunfights, and the other one's all like martial arts. So
And-
yeah, they're not.
And I think Dread, because of the amount of post-production and the special effects that were done, Dread was completed first. So this is one of those deep impact Armageddon, but more separated.
Or Volcano and
Dante's Peak. Yeah.
Dante's Peak.
Okay.
This is just parallel productions sort of thing. And also, let's not forget that this is a British property filmed in South Africa, as opposed to The Raid, which is from where it's from. I don't want to be racist.
Lemon Pie asks, what is Canadian Spider-Man drinking? He has an
That is
IPA.
a Sneaky Weasel.
Sneaky Weasel is an IPA as well, from what I understand. Yeah.
It's 5.6.
Well, I want to go through a couple.
Well, hold on. We're. Oh, did we skip you? Oh, you were gone.
Yeah, I was gone, but
Well,
now
you
I'm
can-
coming back and I'm crashing the party, pal.
No, but hold on. I got a couple more because.
All right.
Okay, so one of the nobody thinks of this one when they think of great comic book movies, and it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Hell yeah.
I
The
just
first
watched it
movie.
recently again.
It's fucking great.
Hell yeah.
It's a fucking great
Yes,
movie.
it is.
It's dark. It's funny. The stunt work is good. It's diminishing.
The
with
animatronics.
time after this, the animatronics. After this first movie, everything starts to look cheap. The second one's okay, but by the third one, it's just like puppeteers. Yeah.
Yeah. They sold a lot of pizza.
Yeah, back when Pizza Hut was good.
Yeah.
Oh god, Pizza Dude's got 3 seconds to get here. Oh god, I remember.
So
you guys
amazing.
remember that? The pizza was free if it wasn't there on time. Oh, that was so fun. even though
they don't do that anymore.
they never really followed through with that shit anyway. So But yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay, Scotty, I'll let you go now.
Eric Boise in the chat says, I have a question. Who is your favorite leading lady comic book movie? One of my favorite gifts that I received, and don't forget to subscribe to Anti-Derivative Jill, is I love Tank Girl. And Tank Girl is a comic book co-created by one of the animators for the Gorillas. And I love that flick so much, but it's also in the category of studio interference, mangled. It is camp. If you watch it, you don't necessarily have to think it's good, but I love that movie. And when it comes to a leading lady in terms of a romantic interest, then it's a toss-up between Dr. Chase Meridian from Batman Forever and Jenny Blake from The Rocketeer. Those would be where I live, but everything that I just mentioned is in the 90s, and so it was formative years of, punk chicks, doctors, and muses. So those are my answers. What do you guys got?
If you're talking about comic book, like superhero women in leading roles, for me, it's always going to be Hit Girl. Hit Girl's Hit Girl's just the fucking best. Like, she steals both of those movies that she's in straight from Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass is good. Did anybody bring up Kick-Ass?
Well, we might later, but
all right.
Because this question came up to me, Hit Girl, played by Chloe Grace Moretz, is like the best badass chick ever. But keep going, Scotty. Sorry.
And thank you. I appreciate your approval, Eric Boise. And Lemon in the chat says that Domino's is better than Pizza Hut nowadays. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Wow, that is crazy to think that.
Yeah, after they got caught putting boogers in their pizzas, they had to
pizza. That's pizza's good.
Well, see, I grew up on Little Caesars.
Little Caesars isn't bad. Little Caesars made a comeback, I think. I do
historical.
Yeah, I do want to give for non-superhero comic book movies, and some of my favorites. Like, I'm not just bringing these up because it's like, oh, look for the little guy. I have these on disc. I don't think these are bad, but for like an indie flick, I think that American Splendor is a great Paul Giamatti movie. I think that it is a great adaptation of a biography that was presented in sequential art. I Hope Davis is great in that, and it is almost a fictionalized or dramatized documentary simply because of the inclusion of the actual Harvey Pekar. I love American Splendor.
American Splendor is in my top 30 movies of all time, Scotty. As I prefaced earlier when we were talking, just me, you, and Steve, I left out the graphic novels because some of them are just like my favorite movies ever.
Mm-hmm.
But God, I agree with you. And Paul Giamatti as Harvey Pekar, Jesus Christ. Like, he didn't even get nominated, but he should have won an Oscar for that movie.
Yeah, but that movie made like, what, $30,000, and its budget was $12.
Well, whatever.
Well, but that's something...
I agree with you so much. It's a brilliant movie. It's really fun. The way they recreate that David Letterman scene, it's almost better than the original. Like, if you watch the original Harvey Pekar on the David Letterman show, like yelling at the audience, the one where Paul Giamatti's doing it is funnier. It's anyway.
Well, but it's also like, and that's something that you have to take into account when you're watching a biography of somebody or a biopic of somebody. That dramatization of their life is that it is going to be slanted towards them. Like this new movie coming out, just as a tangent, The Brutalist, an architect who made some of the most imposing, awful, eyesore architecture, in my opinion. And it's like, oh, let's have a story about him. And it's like, why?
I've actually been waiting for Bobak to go, hey, are you going to watch The Brutalist so we could do a review? Because Bobak's a historian. Are you going to watch that?
I love history. Guggenheim, right? Wait, what are we talking about?
No. Your audio still sounds like shit, dude. What happened to your audio?
Let me bring the mic closer. Sorry.
Sure.
Is this any better?
Yeah, it just sounds like you're underwater.
I don't know anything about architecture, and you probably are more well versed. So I saw a 20-minute YouTube video that said this guy made poured concrete with rebar, and it's destroyed architecture. It makes it all very imposing. And I've seen some of it because it's been used to design campuses and dormitories in universities around me, and I see it and I'm just like, this looks like a prison.
Yeah, too much concrete will ruin the ambiance.
Like Warsaw or something.
Yeah,
Didn't they have a pact?
Yeah, they did.
And then following up on the comic book stuff, Scott Pilgrim versus the World is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
Yep.
It's like
Knives
Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, it's better than Super Mario Brothers. In fact,
I mean like the coins and the action.
Oh, absolutely. It is. It's based on a comic book, making homage and reference to video games, pop culture. It is, again, it's something that is very referential to my age group, which I'm assuming is most of us here. And it does I think it has an amazing soundtrack. It's visually stunning. Edgar Wright is one of those directors who does great.
Scotty, that's your apex Brie Larson.
That is my apex Brie Larson. See, and that's why I can't get mad at Brie Larson, is because Brie Larson has always been mad at me.
Bobak, I don't know if you remember, but the first time I saw Scott Pilgrim was with you, and we were hitting your BONG and watching that movie.
I don't remember a thing, bro.
Yeah,
Nice.
No, but that's like kind of the state you got to be, because it's almost like it doesn't have a lot of music in it. I mean, like the guys like playing the guitar, right?
Well, it's
a band. It's a battle of the bands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is. Like get into the vibe of it, like rock out a little bit.
Dude, you gotta Bobak, you gotta take your hard knuckle and smack your microphone, because there is something off.
Here, I'm gonna unplug it. Hold on, let me unplug.
Knock the shit out of that thing. Just smack that thing.
Does that sound any better?
No.
Okay.
You gotta smack it like a redheaded stepchild. Are we allowed to say that anymore? I don't know.
Two-girl drum. Yeah, of course you can. The Hollywood does not like redheads.
It's true, sadly.
That's true. While
Mary
Bobak's,
Jane is
I'm gonna blast off a couple more while Bobak's fixing that. This is real simple, guys. Blade 2. Best Blade movie. It's the best Blade movie.
It is.
Guillermo del Toro, the Night Stalkers, or whatever they're called, the people with the open mouths. It's amazing. And come on, The Dark Knight. No one's even mentioned The Dark Knight yet. The Dark Knight.
I was afraid to. I was waiting for you to be done with Batman Begins before I started filleting The Dark Knight.
Knight's insanely awesome. All the Avenger movies.
Wait. No, we're not going with all of them. You can't say all of them. You can't say it's a full house of Avengers. Four of a kind. I like them all too, but the best one is Infinity War.
It's Infinity War. And then the first one, and then Age of Ultron, and then Endgame to me.
Yes.
And then
I'm okay with that.
The original Iron Man is fucking awesome.
Yes. Oh, which reminds me, I wanted to push back against you. Or no, I didn't really want to push back against you. I wanted to offer up that I consider the original Captain America to be superior to Winter Soldier, simply because I'm a Rocketeer fan. And that is like I see that as being something that evokes. Like, I remember when Captain America was coming out and everybody was like, how the fuck are they going to make Captain America? Like, when did Captain America come out?
2011.
Yes. And so it was like in a post 9/11 world, and we had gone through all of the trials and tribulations between local government, like I don't even know because I'm Canadian.
It was a decade after 9/11. So
the Patriot Act and global conflict and Afghanistan and things like that. And it was like, how do you make Captain America a hero for the world? And I found, like, first things first, they get the guy who directed Rocketeer to make it.
Yeah,
and that's a great call.
Joe Johnson, he's fantastic. Yeah.
And then you go and you make it in World War II. You spice it up. You spice it up with a little bit of diversity, which is fine. Like, I don't think that there were many. I know he was from Fresno, but like, and Derek Luke was there. It's like there weren't integrated platoons, I don't think. But like, it did come off as being rah-rah, but it was all centered around Steve. There was, like, again, Tommy Lee Jones is there.
Oh, I love the steak scene. I love the steak scene.
Oh, yeah, the steak scene with Zola.
Yeah, him and Toby Jones squaring off at a table over a steak. It's like, that's not in a comic book movie, dude.
No, exactly. And that's it. And I think it's one of the few times they tried to do it in Civil War when Steve was fighting Crossbones. And they tried it with him fighting Batroc in
Winter Soldier.
And Bucky was a great antagonist. And I do love Winter Soldier, but I think that in terms of introducing an inspiring superhero, I think that it was an impossible task that was achieved incredibly considering when it was released.
No, I love the first Avenger. I love it. I love it. My final of my favorites is Days of Future Past. That fucking movie's amazing. Like, it's epic and like personal, and like the final act of that movie is not a big spectacle. I mean, you have Magneto dropping the stadium down. Okay, that's a spectacle.
That's kind of big.
No, but the final moments of that was just like Charles getting into Mystique's head, and like this beautiful, like, John Ottman score, piano score of just like saying, don't do this. And it ends very like personal instead of, there's no big fight. It's just like he makes her put her gun down and then the situation's over. I love that. I respect the hell out of that movie because the whole movie is so brilliant. It's not like the comic. If you guys have read Days of Future Past, the comic, it's nothing like the comic, but who cares? Somebody goes back. We're not going to have Ellen Page's Kitty Pryde go back in time for an entire movie. Nobody would care. You have to have Hugh Jackman's Wolverine go back. But hey, Bobak, how are you sounding now?
I don't know. Is this sounding any better? Is this any better? 3, 2, 1. Mic check.
A little bit.
It's not worse.
Here, how about now? Is this any better?
It's not worse.
It's not worse. That's good.
You're all right. You're all right. Can you turn your volume up a little bit? I think that'll help.
On my left, I turn my volume
go to your settings and just turn your input up a little bit.
Yeah,
or
turn it from automatic.
Audio.
Yeah, it's on automatic right now, so you need to manually adjust it.
Automatically adjust. Yeah, so deselect it and thank you. Is that any better?
Better. Yeah.
Dude, love it. Thank you so much.
So your turn, dude. Your turn. We're gonna finish off with the best of, and then we'll get into some that are just okay.
So I really kind of wanted to keep this as like comic book originally that came to the screen. But one of like my favorite movies from a book that did have a comic adaptation before they did a movie adaptation or something like that. You know, it was in comic before the movie. I don't know if you guys ever got into Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When I was younger, next to Lord of the Rings, like before the first movie, Lord of the Rings came out, it was like this series, of novels that since I was a kid, I was like, I have to see this on the big screen. And I felt that way about Ender's Game, where it's this book and it's like a classic story. The first two books in the series are, in my opinion, the best. and after that, it becomes a different thing. But this movie, Ender's Game, it did have a comic adaptation first, not of the actual story. I think it was like a tangent story or a side story, but it was still the same world and the same characters, I think. But Ender's Game was great. And anytime you can get like Harrison Ford and Ben Kingsley on the screen together, and they really did keep it very, I felt like it was really authentic to the original story. So I kind of want to throw it out as an honorable mention. It's not exactly like a comic original thing, so I felt
I heard the movie was pretty good, and it ends like kind of dark or whatever. Like,
and the book does it like gets into this really like psychodrama of like philosophy. Like the next after the first 2 books, it's all about xenocide, it's like genocide, but only to foreigners. So like xenocide, And the character Ender, he actually like wipes out an entire alien species, except for like 1 or 2 that, anyway, whatever. But it becomes this whole philosophical drama after the first 2. But the first 2 books, it's just like, I'm in the Space Academy and we're getting ready for the battle. And like this whole thing is set up on the battle room, which is it's a 0 gravity, like in the center of the space station where there's no gravity. And you're going and playing laser tag. But whenever you get hit, that part of your armor freezes. And they're like just doing those tactical formations around asteroids and like trying to figure out the battle plans. And it's just a game room, The kids all think that they're in a game. And at some point, the adults phase in. They're actually in command of the battle fleet, and they're overriding the pilots that are like in the conflict, And they don't get that they're actually sending people to their death. So they just make the best strategic decision because they don't care if those units are gone, But it's this really great psychodrama once you get past the whole penny actioning thing. But I just love seeing it come out to the big screen. It just very authentic. I was waiting for it for a long time. Had a bit of a comic side thing, so I thought I'd throw it in there. But I kind of went over all my best and worst before. I'm really glad you brought in Days of Future Past. That was one of the first things I thought of because that was one of for me, like when I got into comics originally, what got me into X-Men, what got me into comics was I loved playing G.I. Joes when I was a kid. Oh, I love G.I. Joes.
Yeah,
dude. Oh my God. And then I found out there's a G.I. Joe comic. So then I started going to a comic store, and then I got into X-Men, and I was all about the X-Men, But just taking it back to that, and I should have thrown it in with like the worst of, but like when they brought the G.I. Joe movies from the comics and the action figures to the big screen, I was like, this isn't G.I. Joe, dude. They just licensed the name or something,
Yeah, no,
not at all, I'm like, what is it, like 20 guys?
But it's the same thing as X-Men. Is what they did is that they put everybody in black leather and they said, oh, you're Scarlet. You don't look anything like Scarlet. You're Duke. You don't look anything like Duke. Snake Eyes looks like Snake Eyes, but he doesn't have to do much else.
But he's not got Snake Eyes underneath the costume. Like that's the real guy,
Yeah, well, but the thing is that if you have Snake Eyes as your centerpiece, and then everybody else is just generic guy in black leather. It's like, well, then the only difference is that Snake Eyes is wearing a mask.
Yeah, you can't see his face.
Well, they didn't know how to use. They used Duke all wrong. Duke was the problem with
I think that they're
the first one. Yeah, no, but we won't.
I'm not. Yeah, no, we'll do a whole retrospective on all 3. Of the G.I. Joe movie, or four, including the animated.
Channing Tatum as Duke doesn't do it for you?
Really quickly, Arian says, this is way back, but Flash Gordon, one of the first comic book movies I ever watched. Yeah.
Which one?
I think it was the
60s one, right?
Well, no. The movie, the
one with Queen.
60s, 70s.
What's his name? Sam fucking... whatever the guy, the actor. Sam something. he was in fucking Ted. Don't you guys remember Ted?
Yeah, no, I know. I don't know the name of the actor from Flash Gordon. Sam.
Sorry,
wasn't
Sam
he?
Gordon.
Sam Jones. Sam
Jones. I was gonna say Sam Jenkins.
He's doing all the blow and stuff in the Ted movie.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one. Canadian Spider-Man. How many? Do you have some more best ofs? Throw them out, sir.
Well, I think there's one big one that we're overlooking.
Oh, what's that?
Or are we? Yes.
And you're gonna say, "Oh, of course, Conan the Barbarian."
Oh
Was that
shit!
a comic?
Yeah.
Yes.
But it started off as a series of novels.
Books.
I thought it was comics. I thought it was comics first.
No. It was pulp. It was pulp. It was
It was a comic, definitely.
Well, it was a comic book at one point. Yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer. How about Red Sonja? Not on the same level.
Nice spin-off.
No.
Do you guys know
Yeah,
that Red Sonja was supposed to feature Arnold, but he couldn't do it, so they just put in some like other dude.
No, but Arnold is in Red Sonja, isn't he?
No.
I'm gonna check. I believe you, but I'm gonna check because
Right?
that means I don't believe
Canadian
you.
Spider-Man. He's not, right?
I don't think he was.
I was under the impression that he.
No, he
yeah,
was
he's
the-
in it.
he was
Yes,
the-
he is in it. Arnold
Okay.
Schwarzenegger is in Red Sonja, but he
okay.
does not play. He plays
Just a
Calidor. So, and that was the thing.
That's what
he doesn't.
that's what I was trying to say.
So he's not in character.
Yeah, he was supposed to be Conan, but they didn't have the rights to it, so he had to play a different guy. Yeah, that's
Well, your pivot is accepted, and yet I accept your bullshit answer.
And there is one
That's not a
more.
bullshit answer. That was also a dream
Schwarzenegger's in
No,
it. Schwarzenegger's in it. Actually, Schwarzenegger is in it. Oh, that's what I meant. He's actually not playing Matrix from Commando.
I haven't seen the movie in years. I just read his autobiography where he talked about it, so I got a little.
I'm busting your chops. Calm down.
Fuck out of me.
And one more.
Anyway, Canadian
And I-
Spider-Man, continue.
There's Conan the Barbarian needs to be spoken about for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Fantastic Four. I don't think we've mentioned yet. And
Dude, that was gonna be my middle of the road.
oh, okay, well,
You can go where you want. Go where you want.
No, because the portrayal of the Thing, I think they really nailed her. And who's the wow, one of the hottest girls on the planet in the day.
Jessica Alba.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's, I mean,
Yeah, Michael Chiklis as the Thing
Michael
is
Chiklis.
not only one of the best.
perfect casting.
Perfect casting. I don't agree 100% with the makeup, with the prosthetic. Because I like thick brow ridge.
Oh yeah,
Ben
that's right.
Grimm.
Yeah, Clawby
And he's
style.
more rounded early Ben Grimm, but
Yeah.
still Michael
Clawby.
Chiklis not only was great in the performance, but also if you like, I've listened to the audio commentaries to both of those films. He adored doing it. Like
That's important.
yeah, and the back and forth between them, like Michael Chiklis and Chris Evans would have conversations, and Michael Chiklis would be like, "I'm so hot in this suit," and then Chris Evans would be like, "I can't wait to I just don't want to have to flex my abs anymore. Why am I topless all the time?"
And there's one more that I didn't realize was a comic book movie until looking at it today.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good one. I can't believe I forgot about that.
Goddamn right it
V
is.
for Vendetta.
For Vendetta.
I was actually thinking about mentioning it, but that was a comic.
Yeah, dude. Well,
Yeah,
graphic.
okay.
There you go. It's important every
I
Canadian
follow.
should have one of these. In case shit goes-
Just in case the revolution comes.
Dude,
Along with the poppy.
that movie is amazing, man. Viggo, not Viggo Mortensen.
Viggo Mortensen,
Hugo
yes,
Weaving.
it was.
Hugo
No,
Weaving.
Hugo Weaving is like he
The
does
same
so much
person.
voice acting in that movie under that mask. It's fucking brilliant, man. Brilliant.
Well, and also, I guess I should.
He acts without the use of his face. Sorry, Scotty.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
you're right.
But I
He
mean-
acts without the use of his friggin' face, and he does it convincingly.
I don't know
Who
what I'm
doesn't
doing.
who doesn't love the baby pajamas? What's her name scene? Who was the chick in it? It was
Natalie Portman?
Natalie Portman in the baby pajamas with the pigtails. Like, dude, you're like, what the fuck is this doing in this movie? Like, it's so. Canadian Spider-Man knows what I'm talking about.
If I can see you a camera, If I can see you at camera two for 1 second, if you're going to keep bringing up Hit Girl and baby pajamas, we're going to have a conversation off camera.
It's a scene where she goes undercover and she's acting like this.
Oh, yeah, totes.
Chick with the pigtails.
Well,
She's just
Hollywood
smoking
is
hot,
messed up, dude.
I know. And also, but like, no one brought up the adaptation, the Zack Snyder Watchmen.
Well, we haven't gotten there yet. Like,
I didn't know we were still. All right.
No. What I mean is, it's also on my list. Really, that's what I meant. But
did you like the TV show?
I thought it was hilarious. Yeah.
Huh?
It was awful.
It was funny for me. Yeah, I liked it.
I watched it. I watched it, and I didn't find it to be like. Again, it was one of those things where people on the internet said, "I can't believe that they're doing this to Watchmen," and I was like,
Okay.
It's slapstick.
It's Scotty, I don't care about the race swap stuff with Dr. Manhattan. I don't give a shit about that. They ruined Ozymandias. He's the smartest person that's ever existed in history, and he somehow gets like thrown into this like he gets suckered into like being thrown on this world where like he's like throwing clones of himself at the moon. I was just like, dude, fuck that. I don't care about like race.
How do you outsmart the smartest man ever?
And then they exactly. And then they also ruin Silk Spectre. Like Silk Spectre. Oh my god, that show.
They
sucks.
don't. Here's my hot take when it comes to any of these franchises, these intellectual properties that are furthered beyond their logical endpoint, or taken in a different direction. The thing is that like my dad hates Daniel Craig. As far as he's concerned, the last James Bond movie was Die Another Day. And I hate that movie. And I'm glad that we got to Casino Royale. So,
my name is Bond.
And this is what I think has been happening across all fandoms, is that if you don't like something, don't watch it, baby girl. You don't have to. You don't have to hate it. You can watch it until you give up and then stop.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. How can you?
Why does it not make sense?
Well, no, but you've made no sense. How could you hate something until you watch it? You said if you hate something, don't watch it. Well, you don't know.
Yeah,
but
look,
until you watch it.
Because I watched Star Trek Discovery until I hated it, and then I stopped watching it. No, you did not boom. You kind of wet farted. It comes to a point where they're going to progress. As Bobak, you said beautifully, there are things that you can consider a film, and then you can see things that are a movie, which are product. And if you consider something that is touching, and it is a film, or it is a television event, or if you just see a TV show and you call it the revival of Frasier or whatever, and you just leave it alone. Don't pay attention. Don't buy the book.
Well, who are you referring to that does that?
Well, you specifically in this current iteration is that.
What are you talking about?
Well, no, they didn't ruin it with this, but they ruined it with that. They didn't ruin anything. There are people out there who think that they ruined Watchmen with the Zack Snyder adaptation because in the original.
First of all, I love the Zack Snyder Watchmen.
Right. But there are people who say that it is untrue to the original iteration because it was supposed to be normal people. But the thing is that when they made the movie, it made them punching through cement. That's why I didn't bring it up earlier, is because I do not think it is a good adaptation of the source material.
Lemon Pie says the revival.
Hey, I will accept your apology.
I see what you're saying, Scotty, and I wanna meet you halfway on that. However, there are times where there might be a franchise that you are so in love with and personally connected with, and you have such high hopes for the potential that exists. And when people come in and like provably, visibly destroy the previous heroes of the previous iteration of that property, and they destroy and purposely attack it, then yeah, you can take offense with it, which has happened.
But this is something like, and again, just within the confines of this conversation, there is the possibility that a fan of Batman can absolutely be revulsed. Is that a word? Yes. By Ben Affleck stepping into the cowl of the Bat. But then all of a sudden, all it takes is Robert Pattinson to show up, and there is hope of redemption. So nothing is truly dead until the new adaptation.
I won't abide the ruin of Fraser Canon.
Yeah, exactly. I won't abide the Fraser Canon. Exactly.
Scott,
did Lilith even show up? I don't remember. Where is Niles and Daphne?
I heard that the new show got canceled, but
it did get canceled. It did.
Oh, that's a bummer. Can you read this from our buddy representative?
You can't ever go back, folks. You can't ever go back.
Oh, but you can. Whether represent this in the chat says whether like or dislike, fans should talk about their franchises. It's so important to explore the different takes. I will watch Star Wars even though I loathe everything that it is now.
See,
no argument.
It's almost like you got what you asked for. Like, I remember wishing that there was going to be more than just like the 9 original, like, because like Star Wars was 6 movies, and then it was forever, and they're like, there's going to be more, and I was like, oh, I want so much more, and now there is so much more, and I don't even want to watch any of it. And it's like, dude, let's kind of like keep it to the classics, you know. And sometimes they're just beating the franchise to death, you know. They're like, oh, here's another random. It's like the Guardians of the Galaxies, but it worked, you know, or like the Captain Marvel and it didn't. You know, they're like, how many more random characters that no one knows of can we like, you know, bring into this? Sometimes you can get a little bit too much, but I always end up showing up for lots of these things that I'm really invested in. You know, it's like I feel like I owe it. You know, it's like my earlier self.
Same, yeah. RT, we got to give movies a chance, even though most of them today are complete garbage. No, dude, I agree. I mean, I go and see everything these days. Like, you know, I go see everything.
And you do, and I do tip my hat. Like you watch a heck of a lot more than I do. Your interests are broader than mine. But like you say that we're doing this not with a new superhero movie coming out, but we are. There is Captain America 4 with Sam Wilson.
You're right.
So, what's it called? Brave New World, or And
I like the original title, New World Order. That was cooler. But
apparently there was some controversy with it. But
sounds foreboding.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
like that's a movie I'm gonna go see, because all I wanted, like when at the end of Endgame and Steve gives Sam the shield, I was like, I can't wait to see it. And then I saw a Falcon and the Winter Snowman, and I was like, okay, this is fine. And so now I can't wait to see him sort of on his own.
I don't even know if you meant to say that, but that was
fun. I did. I have always said it.
I can't do that type of reboot where they're
I saw Falcon Crest and the
Falcon Crest and the Winter Snowman.
Doesn't he need the super soldier serum?
Apparently, well, I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. Maybe he's going to get a booster.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I think it's Canadian Spider-Man's turn to give out. Do you have any more, like, because now we're at the point where it's like better than average ones, maybe
shout out, I guess, to in this category I'd put The Mask with Jim Carrey.
Very different than the comic, not as dark, but such a cool movie.
It was, and Jim Carrey, of course, was perfectly cast for the role. I think, you know,
perfecto.
Cameron Diaz.
And
Cameron Diaz. Well. Oh my God, 21 years old in that movie.
And that really helped his career. It definitely, it was everywhere. I think there was McDonald's cups and so forth that you could buy with The Mask on it, if I'm not mistaken. So, but again, it wasn't. I wouldn't put it in the same category as the top ones that we were discussing earlier.
But it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun to watch.
I really, I enjoyed it a lot, and you know, and I guess,
and it has Ben Stein in it. It has Ben Stein.
We all wear masks, Mister.
Playing himself. Playing.
If I tell
playing
you what to
himself,
hear,
yeah.
will you leave my office right now?
And I guess I'd put Spider-Man 3 in this category, because
I love Spider-Man
again,
3.
too many villains. It could have been so much better. It just had too many villains for me, and maybe it was a bit too long. They could have, with some editing, maybe it could have been saved. But
it just didn't need Venom. You take Venom out of that movie, we're fine.
Yes, exactly.
I agree,
yeah.
Scotty. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
I think.
Hey, Stark of Iron.
Yeah. Hey, Tony, how are you doing, man? Yeah,
Tony.
good to see you. And yeah, I don't know. I know I know it did pretty well in the theater, but yeah, it could have. Well, because I mean, it's got Spider-Man attached to the name. You could put almost anything in there, and it's still gonna be.
Well, remember, guys, a movie is only as good as the one that came before it. If we're talking about franchise ones, X2 did better than X1 because X1 was good. X3 did way better than X2 because X2 was like a fucking masterpiece. Yeah. So yeah, you always have that thing where it's like people want to see it immediately because the other one was so good, and then they're like, well, this one wasn't quite as good.
But this is also like with Spider-Man 3. I remember I was living in Australia when I got the news. And by the way, I wanted to touch back on this. Yeah, Australians love the Phantom. I didn't even know. But I was in Australia when they announced that Spider-Man 4 was Sam Raimi. There had been anticipation that it was going to be John Malkovich was going to be the Vulture. Anne Hathaway was going to be the Vultress. She wasn't, and it was going to be some like father-daughter thing. It was all a mishmash. We didn't know what was going on. It was all rumors and whatnot. And they announced it. And I wrote a eulogy for the Spider-Man movies because even though Spider-Man 3 wasn't what I wanted, it didn't live up to Spider-Man 2. I was like, I still want to know what happens to Peter and Mary Jane, which is what Sam Raimi always did for Spider-Man, is that it paid attention to Peter Parker.
Yep.
And that was the important anchor 100%. Of every Spider-Man. 100%. It was like, Spider-Man is a burden, but it's a responsibility. I have this power.
That's right.
And I have to keep doing it. And I wanted to see how that progressed and how they dug themselves out of the hole that was the influence of the symbiote. It seemed like a logical continuation. And Sony went on many years later to make a lot of Spider-Man movies without fucking Spider-Man in them. Yeah. So maybe they dug their own graves.
They did.
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah.
And
I never saw any of those movies other than the Venom ones because
I never saw any of them.
I can tell, Scotty, you're like me. Like I actually have solo Morbius comics because I like Morbius. Like, but I didn't see that movie because, first of all, I'm kind of sick and tired of Jared Leto, and then I also heard it was just terrible, so I never saw it. But I've only seen the Venom movies, and I've only seen 1 and 2. I haven't seen Madam Web. I haven't seen what's the new one with Kick-Ass?
Kraven the Hunter.
I haven't seen. I heard that's fucking shit. Like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with all this crap, wasting all this money. Sony wasting all this money when they could have just gone to Marvel and been like, okay, let's do a Spider-Man 4 right now. Let's do it. Let's have an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man 4 or Spider-Man 3 or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck.
They should have.
You know that in terms of
cocaine, dude. They're on too much cocaine.
In terms of franchises, and this is just me and my eternal Star Trek adoration, is all of the bullshit that they've released in Star Trek, how much money they have spent. They could have remastered both Deep Space Nine and Voyager on Blu-ray, and I would have been so much happier.
And they would have made more money.
No, they would have made it. They wouldn't have made a nickel, but they would have made fans happy.
And there's one movie we haven't. I'll finish the mid-range ones with this one. There's one we haven't mentioned, I guess, and it has. If I said Lou Ferrigno, Nick Nolte, right, and Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
Who does Nick Nolte play?
He's Bruce Banner's father.
Oh, right. Shit. I forgot. Oh, my God. You know what? I think that is an artistic. That is something that a man puts his artistic integrity on the line and says, "You want me to make a comic book movie? I will." I think Ang Lee's Hulk is.
Nick Nolte was like, "I need to pay my bail."
No. I think he got drunk during it. That's why he was all crazy haired.
But who was the girl in that? Oh my goodness,
that was Jennifer Connelly.
Yes, Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm yelling into my microphone.
I know.
No, I have that movie on Blu-ray. I love it. I watch it at least once a year. Every now and then I watch it. Smoke some green.
And he was the strongest Hulk. Absolutely, he's my Hulk, man.
He was the one. If he got angrier, he got bigger.
That's the way it's supposed to fucking be.
Spidey, we can hang out anytime.
That's the way he got angrier, and there's no limit to his anger. And when he clapped, and he was getting the shit beat out of him by the other animal there, the big orange Abomination.
No, Abomination was in the other one.
Okay, but he was getting the shit kicked at him, and then he gets bigger and stronger, and he
gets shot by a bunch of Apache helicopters. It's very interesting. I think that is. I think that
the tank.
I think when he swings the tank, it's great.
You guys agree that the Hulk in the 2003 one looked like the germ boogers from those commercials where they're like the germ boogers?
I think that one would have benefited from but that's restrictions of the technology of the time kind of thing.
He was very green. He was very green.
He was like really like fluorescent green, where he just looked like a giant
gamma radioactive.
But that's also
I wasn't saying that was a bad thing. I'm just saying, yeah.
That's also one of those things where Ang Lee was brash enough to set a lot of the Hulk stuff in bright light, and he was like, "I don't care. Get it to work." And it was like, but it would work better if it were dark and rainy.
Eric Bana, I like Eric Bana as David Banner.
I'm okay with him. Yeah,
I liked Eric Bana.
Yeah, no, Eric Bana's awesome.
His name was close.
He's fucking awesome, dude. I love Eric Bana. He's a great
Bruce Banner. Eric Bana. That's true.
I
close
think
enough.
To me, Edward Norton was the best Bruce Banner. Like he just was more like the character than anybody else. Mark Ruffalo never acted like Bruce Banner and that's not his fault. They just thrusted him into Avengers movies, and he never got a chance to act like Bruce Banner.
I think
Edward Norton was great.
I think
if Edward Norton wasn't such a cocksucker, like he would have been in the movie. But
if I'm not mistaken, I think Louis Leterrier said that he wanted Mark Ruffalo. But the studio said, no, we want Edward Norton.
Edward Norton was better as Bruce Banner, in my opinion. In my opinion. That, there's no debate.
Well, and that's another reason to go see Sam Wilson in The Best of Both Worlds, is that it's got Liv Tyler and it's got Tim Blake Nelson. They're coming back from the
Tim Blake Nelson's playing the leader. He's playing
same character from the Ed Norton one.
Yeah, and I've heard that Liv Tyler is in it, but we haven't seen her in any of the trailers, so I don't know.
Well, they got to keep some things secret, so spoilers.
Yeah, no shit. Well, what they shouldn't have done was told us that the Red Hulk was fucking Harrison Ford, because in the comics, the Red Hulk is a big mystery on who the Red Hulk is.
Yeah, but if you read the comics, you already know. Like it's kind of the same thing as
Harrison Ford.
Yeah, but you're not. But you're trying to sell tickets to normies. You're not. You're trying to make it a mystery.
Yeah,
I never heard of the red Hulk. I thought it was the green and the gray Hulk.
Wow, you sound even worse now, dude. What the fuck happened to your audio? Wait, Bobek, how about back up a little bit? Talk.
Yo.
No, you're all right. You're all right.
Okay. All right.
Well, you always have such great stuff to say. I didn't.
Oh no, I just was saying I didn't realize it was the red Hulk. I just thought it was the green Hulk and the gray Hulk, and then I never heard about a red Hulk. And then
The Red Hulk comics started in like maybe 10 years ago, so it's not something old or whatever. But I'm gonna jump through. Okay, so I'm getting to better than average. And then everybody else can finish off with, just ones that are good, but not the best. I'm going to start with Wonder Woman. Better than average, one of the better DC films, in my opinion. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought Patty Jenkins did a great job directing, specifically that No Man's Land scene where she gets up in front of the soldiers in World War I, and she leads the troops. Like, I thought that was pretty great. And we've already talked about Watchmen. I think Watchmen's a way better than average comic book movie. It's probably the most mature Zack Snyder movie. If you really go back and think about it, it's probably the most mature movie he's ever done. This one is just a fun movie. Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass is fucking awesome. Yeah, Steve. Steve gets it. It's I don't know what, it's not Marvel. Who did Kick-Ass? Anybody know? What press? It might have been Marvel adjacent or whatever, but next up, 300. 300, great comic book movie. I love the panels. I love the way it looks. It's incredible. The Hellboy movies. I know that Canadian Spider-Man does not like 2. I don't like 2 as much as 1.
Not as much. I was disappointed.
Not even close. Well, you know what it does? You know what it does, Steve? Is it does that sequelitis thing where like you don't see the main character in it as much, like the first movie is a Hellboy movie. In the second movie, you see those elves, fighting. You see that stuff way too much,
Yeah. I want to see just more of what you showed me before.
And then what else do I have here? Deadpool 1 through 3. Better than average, but not, some stuff I would call the best. But I love the Deadpool movies. I think the first one's probably the best. The third one is probably the funnest to sit through because it's just got the cameos and all that stuff. And then my last of better than average.
No. Wait. And actually, this is excellent. This is excellent to show this right after you showed Deadpool. Deadpool 3 and Tom Holland's Spider-Man 3 are jangly keys for people who want a coloring book instead of a film. They are the definition of a product just to have member berries for an audience that complains about member berries. It is made for you for tickets so that you can remember your past victories without actually having past victories. These are children's dollar store sticker books.
I don't disagree with you.
Okay,
Not
great.
at all.
But also, I'm really glad Babbitt brought up Tintin. Tintin is something I left off my list for no good reason.
At the same time, I do have to say, Spider-Man: No Way Home is a fucking blast, and that's
it gets worse every time you watch it.
Was Tintin a comic?
Oh yeah.
Dude, that movie's fucking awesome. I love that movie, man.
I should have put that in my tops.
Well, you just brought it up, so you might as well.
No, I didn't. Bobbick did.
Oh, Bobbick, you talked about Tintin?
No, he put it up. There's a picture right behind in his virtual background.
Oh shit! I wasn't looking. Jesus Christ!
It's a visual medium, sir.
Scotty,
I'm
I swear to
actually trying
God.
to get another.
I'm gonna get kicked.
But Tintin, I mean, when I was a little kid,
Oh, that
before
movie's so
the
good.
comic I was reading Tintin. It was literally the original picture, thing that I ever saw. Love that it's been translated probably into more languages than any other comic as a comic, and the thing that I love the most is a faithful adaptation. And when I see exactly what I read, or like in the comic, read whatever comics on the screen, I love it. And
Would you agree it's easier though when it's animated though? It's easier.
It's
easier when it's an animated adaptation. Yeah.
And there is a Tintin TV show from, I think, Quebec. I think it's from the 90s or something, which is the comic books animated, the exact same style. Everything is awesome, and it's perfect.
I think it's from the 70s.
It could from the
Really?
90s.
Is there a 90s one? Okay.
Yeah, 2 seasons, and they go through all the comics like verbatim. It's perfect. But the thing that I love about a couple of things that I love about the Tintin movie, I don't even know where to start because I've been watching this since I was a kid, like reading, and I've been into it forever. But the one thing that I love about it is that I didn't realize I was seeing the CGI, the thing where the actors, they pull that green mask, because you can see that the heads of the characters are exactly from the comic, and they're obviously CGI. But whatever
cap.
sort of clothes, like you can see the hairs on the arms of the actors and stuff, and it threw me off. I couldn't figure out how they did it until I realized, they're just putting the mask over the actor's head, and everything else is costume. It's a great effect. They pull it off, totally believable.
But in terms of that adaptation of the Spielberg directed one, is that they start off and it's Tintin walking through a bazaar and they show a picture of him, and it is the picture from and then it's like, it's quite a good likeness.
Oh my God, I fell in love with the movie, and thank you so much for
that
springing
moment.
it for me at that moment right there. Because in every Tintin comic, Hergé always does a cameo. He's an artist. He was a traveler. He went to the places that he put in. Is in the 30s when airplanes were brand new, and this guy visited all the places that he went to, 30s, 40s, 50s, he was drawing real places, like as an actual landscape artist that was going on location. And not only did he put, Tintin or whatever, he would always put himself as a cameo, as just like some background extra character in every comic. And to start with that, like where he's speaking, because very, very few cameos of Hergé, the author, is he actually speaking. He's always just like walking past him or something, and it's a good likeness. I was like, this crew is trying to do a faithful, presentation. It was amazing.
Nice.
And the other thing about, go ahead.
That was Peter Jackson, right? That produced it, I think.
It was Jackson or Spielberg. I'm not sure.
Spielberg directed it, and Peter Jackson produced it. And they had announced that there was going to be a follow-up where Peter Jackson would direct it, and Steven Spielberg would produce it, or vice versa.
But I don't think any movement's been made on the sequel, which I'm just
because it didn't do well at all, which sucks because it's so fucking good.
It's perfect. Perfect.
Again, like Dread, like this, like I saw it in the theater in 3D. I was super jazzed for it just based on the history of it, and I wanted to see these characters brought to life.
Did it so well, not only like visually, where it looks like a 3D representation of the characters, and I love that they have the animated part to see like how it'd be a drawn comic at the beginning that we were talking about, but also just taking the storylines and the plot lines from multiple books, weaving them together into one, like an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it is, presentation, and making it really good. So it's like they were referencing so many parts of that storyline that went across so many different books and getting different things all woven into it. And I was just so into it. Loved it. The 3D part, the book part, yeah, and lack of sequel. Anyway, so Tintin, gotta love it. My first and last.
I'm so glad you brought that one up, man, because I fucking love that movie. It's so fun. The animation is just like nothing you've ever seen before, too. It's like,
yeah, they did a great combo of like practical scenes and then CGI certain parts of it in, and the same thing with the characters. So they really kind of sold it because there was no like complete like this is a background CGI or this is a totally fake character. They kind of blended in the CGI with the actual actors as well as with the backgrounds, and so they kind of really sold it because I couldn't really tell. It took me a couple of viewings, and I never watched the movie twice, but it took me a couple of viewings before I was like, oh, this is the CGI part of the character, and this is the live actor part. They really put the two together. They really sold it. It was awesome.
Fun fact, the guy that played Tintin's voice was Jamie Bell, who also played Thing in the awful fucking Fantastic Four movie.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Good one.
So long as I'm throwing out these are probably my two favorites.
No,
the other
keep
thing
going,
that I
keep
love
going.
so much, like Tintin was my number one since a child, whole life. I've rewatched that more than anything else, the comic, whatever. But the other thing I love is Snoopy. And the thing about Peanuts, Charles Schultz, such a wholesome, like honestly, like Mr. Rogers. I don't know if you guys got Mr. Rogers up in Canada, but just like this authentically just wholesome, good nature, just kind of like.
What do you think Canada? Do you think Canada is the Ukraine or something?
I mean, I've seen Rocky and Bullwinkle, but I can't tell you about side characters.
No, we have a joke up here. The joke is the joke is what is it? Oh shit! Who's Casey's dad?
Oh, Casey. Mr. Dressup.
Mr. Dressup would kick Mr. Rogers' ass. Is the joke?
No, but see, that's not fair because Mr. Dressup, he started. Like there was a collaboration between Mr. Rogers and Mr. Dressup.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
he's not going to fight.
If you guys ever get a chance to see "Won't You Be My Neighbor," which is the documentary, oh my god, of Mr. Rogers, that guy was a literal saint. He was.
You cannot find a speck of dust on him. Like we go back and we can say like, oh, they were actually really bad. You can't.
Well,
say
no,
that.
I mean they pull those clips where he's like, I used to squirt all over him with the, like that's all out of context. It's really funny, but
no, but Charles Schultz of Peanuts as well. Like one of these people that they're just kind of observing, just middle class Americana, just kind of like little foibles, recurring characters. So nostalgic.
Did you see the Charlie Brown CGI movie?
It was called what was it called again? The Peanuts movie.
The Peanuts movie.
Loved it. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, that's what I was getting into. Is that talk about a visually faithful, storytelling faithful, and
even the music.
Yeah, the music. Yeah, perfect. But the greatest thing about this is just like with the Tintin, they took multiple storylines, wove them together, and just gave you a great little synopsis of the whole thing. And I was like, you've done it right, because I've seen all the different, not all, but many different iterations of the art in the TV shows, the specials and stuff, like the classic, and this CGI, the Peanuts movie. The CGI.
I've seen the Robot Chicken Peanut stuff. That's
penis movie, but it's Robot Chicken, right? but with the Peanuts, they really just kind of just made it 3D, but they still kept the scribbles, and all that stuff, and it just felt so good. And I actually like it visually a little bit more than because the 60s and 70s animation was pretty dirty. I don't know what it was. It was just kind of like looked messy, But
did you guys? Sorry, I just wanted to because Araboise is saying meow 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 meow. I was wondering if you guys had touched on the Wonder Woman.
Well, I brought it up. Yeah.
Okay, you talked about it. All right.
I talked. It was one of one of the movies I thought was above average. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, but I didn't see the new one. I didn't see the new Peanuts one where it was all about Franklin. I thought that was interesting, but I haven't seen it yet.
I didn't even hear about that. Yeah, no, I'd love to check it out.
There was a trailer. I didn't hear if it was ever released or where it was released, but it was all about Franklin coming to Peanuts Town and Charlie Brown being friends with him, which some people were like, "Oh, now Charlie Brown has a black friend," and it's like,
he's been there.
That was the entire reason that Charles Schultz created him, is because he was trying to open up diversity in the Peanuts lore.
Right.
That's right.
And
with
so
Peppermint Patty, we all know she's a lesbian.
she's a fucking 8-year-old. She's not a scissor sister.
Well, not.
You know that Marcy is the one who goes for clam digging.
Oh, there. Ooh, good call.
Very good. Very good. But,
Speaking of adults, do you know the first adult comic book, really? And it was turned into a movie in 1968.
Oh, Fritz the Cat.
No, it starred Jane Fonda.
Oh shit!
Barbarella?
I forgot about Barbarella.
Barbarella, the first adult comic book.
Barbarella, Rockefeller.
That was in the 70s. Oh my god!
Well, the comic was in the
Bringing back memories here, Scotty.
Yeah, Jane Fonda, Barbarella. Who can forget Barbarella?
Now she was a giant alien woman in Neanderthal fuzzies, right? Bikini.
Yes.
No, you're thinking of Sheena, Queen of the Jungle.
Queen of the Jungle. Jungle.
And BC.
What about Modesty Blaze? We got Modesty Blaze. Then there was that Brooke Shields movie with Timothy Dalton. I forget what that was called.
Barbarella took place in space.
No, I know. Now I'm just listing things off like flashcards for a fucking guy who never left his house until he was 15.
Smart.
Let's see.
Love it.
No, you guys can keep talking. I'll do my best.
No, pretty much like I kind of threw them all out there. I love these conversations because it always brings up something new, and I can't believe I didn't even mention Tintin or Snoopy, but like they probably are my favorite comic adaptations. Like I love the superheroes, and that's where we go. Because that's popular culture. But it's great to remember that there's so much more to comics than, like, for example, all of the Sin City and all that. Those aren't superheroes. Like superheroes are a genre within comics, and it's not all of comics. So I like kind of being reminded of that.
No, but it's fantastic. Oh, wait, hang on a second.
I would like them to make a Sea Monkeys. Speaking of comic books, I want them to make a Sea Monkeys movie.
Oh, that's what I want. Yeah, Sea Monkeys.
Right?
Are we going to make a Bazooka Joe?
Yes.
Oh my god!
You gotta mention
the worst
ads.
bubble gum in the world. You'd bite down on that, and your fucking teeth would.
Break your fucking teeth, dude. Oh my god!
You remember that? It was like a rectangle. Yeah,
that was like crunchy.
You only wanted it for the little comic strip that.
Exactly. Hey, let's get some Bazooka Joe comic movies out there. Come on. But the one ad from the comics that they did make into a movie. Remember those little green army men? Like I was.
Oh my god! Dude, Bobak, I had those until I was in like maybe junior year of high school because I would write stories with them and stuff. Like so.
They're great for stop motion photography.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Oh, it's called Brenda Starr.
They're fun when you burn them too. You burn them.
Oh my god!
The guy that's holding the one. There was always that one army man that was just like holding the grenade mid throw.
Horrible position to be in.
Sucks for that guy.
Yeah, right. Release. That's when you want to be a quick release guy when you're a grenadier.
They had X-ray goggles, if I'm not mistaken, advertised
Yeah.
in the comic books.
Oh yeah, see through, yeah.
X-ray vision goggles.
Oh, my God.
They did, or
If they had
glasses, whatever
stupid
they were.
advertising back then, none of that shit would have been published.
Hey, Bobak, would you read this one from our friend? Represent this, please.
A quality debated movie based on a very fun comic was, and I'm glad you brought this up, Alien versus Predator. Ironically, at this very moment, as I listen to you, I am currently editing comic images into our AVP Part 1 video premiering.
Oh, dude, represent this. Ben, you tell him.
Well, no, we're not doing the same thing he is. We're
Little
doing
collaboration?
we're doing a retrospective on all the Alien films, and that's
Predator.
fine. Yeah, well, he's got much more viewers than us, so it's fine.
No, but honestly, AVP was one of those comic things as a mashup that then went on the screen. And that is something that I feel like the comics were a little better. I never really got an AVP on the screen, but I think that in the comics they have some great storylines.
The video games too. The video games were kind of fun. You had like colonial marines fighting with predators against aliens. It was kind of fun. Yeah,
love it.
3 weeks from now, after Escape from New York, it's a great comic. Wonderful script. It had potential. Oh, is that? Oh, I didn't even know. Oh, okay. All right. I don't know what that is, but
No, the comic that's how it all launched with AVP. It was based on a Dark Horse comic.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Well, and that was based off Predator 2 showing the skull or whatever.
Yes, the alien skull. The only good thing about Predator 2.
You shut your mouth, you son of a bitch.
Predator 2 is awesome.
No, it's horrible. I was built up so much for that. I thought they were going to bring back Schwarzenegger.
Dude,
right?
God,
yes.
You're gonna have a lot of fun in the next month when you see our Predator retrospective, because we love Predator too.
You're lucky you like Tintin, because I was about to disown you.
Ariane says my brother was obsessed. He would set them up for war for like 3 hours. Yeah, I did the same thing. I did the exact same thing.
Oh yeah, same here.
Sure.
I mean, I did that till I was like 16. Sorry to say, but yeah.
Oh yeah. 18.
Oh man. Yeah.
Maybe even older than that. Yeah.
I
Well,
still
because
have
I was writing, I was like setting things up and like jerking off to. I mean, not jerking off to them, but you know what I mean.
Enjoying.
Scotty, would you read this one, por favor?
I would set up a Barbie mansion inside the horror tower.
I don't.
What is the horror tower? What is that?
I don't know where the horror or the horror, like the
horror.
How did you spell that word?
The horror tower.
No, it's spelled like the movie reference. Yeah.
Okay.
I had my shipwreck action figure trying to have sex with a Barbie, and it was like, she's a giant. Don't get pulled in. Anyway,
G.I. Joes and Barbies don't mix.
I know. I found out the hard way.
Yeah,
Beachhead got sucked in.
Beachhead was one of my favorite G.I. Joes, dude.
Beachhead rules.
Beachhead
it was always so. It was so jarring when he had his mask up.
I love Beachhead, but they waited too long for Roadblock, and The Rock was the perfect guy to play it, but it was just a bad movie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Roadblock, fucking OG, dude.
Yeah.
The Rock was the perfect Roadblock, but the movie just was stupid.
Yeah. No, the
yeah.
the waste of that opportunity.
And then they brought in like Bruce Willis, and he was like, "I'm the original G.I. Joe."
Original Joe. That was so fucking stupid, dude.
The whole thing. Whoever made that movie should be. They already were lobotomized.
They hadn't ever had any exposure to G.I. Joe whatsoever.
They had no idea what brought the magic to that shit.
Bobak, I bring this back to you and I watching movies again. Hi. Remember the little apartment you had before the place you're at now, 2008, 2009. We watched that G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra.
Oh, God.
And ate a bunch of frozen pizzas and just laughed at that movie. Just laughed and laughed and laughed.
Oh God.
Well, and there was a comic book for G.I. Joe, but I did based on the movie, the first one. Did you guys find it fascinating how science worked in that movie, where if they broke up an ice floe, it would sink? The ice would sink into the water.
I never even thought about it.
Because it's too heavy.
The ice.
Small parts.
Like it. I don't even have to explain it.
Yeah, no logic involved.
No.
Absolutely. Not even internal logic. I'm like, this isn't G.I. Joe. Come on, leave it alone. Leave it alone.
You're my best friend's girlfriend's brother. What? Hey, here's Marlon Wayans. Let's jump through some buildings.
Yeah.
It was just anyway. Big shout out to DJ Play Nice. Thank you so much, sir.
Dude,
Appreciate.
thank you so much for the super chat, man. That's awesome. Thanks, buddy. Much appreciated. I don't think we've had a super chat in a couple months, so this is great. You're the man. You're the man. And Lemon Pie says, "Hail DJ."
Yes.
Represent this says Dial Tone and
Dial Tone was rad.
Junkyard.
Junkyard.
Oh,
That
dude,
was
Junkyard. Junkyard.
Yeah, that's right, dude. Oh my God.
Yeah, Junkyard.
Oh, take me back to and I hated the 80s. I absolutely hated the 80s at the time. I was like, the 80s suck.
Yeah,
There
me
was some
too.
Cool things there. Take me back. It'd be cool to be 12 again.
The only thing I want back, Bobak, is the toys and the movies because my childhood was shit.
Yeah, 80s sucked.
Yeah. Oh,
Really?
man.
I like
Represent this, killing it with the Junkyard. Oh, fuck yeah. I had all the my dad wanted to fucking wring my neck because when I was a kid, I had like this BMX bike, which I paid for, by the way. But I traded it for like my neighbor's entire like arsenal of like GI Joes with all the vehicles and the toys and like the fortresses. I was just like, fuck it, take my bike. And my dad's like, what do you do? I'm like, well,
Genius.
I want to play
GI Joes, dude. Oh my God. I had files of like all the each one had like a little dossier.
Oh yeah. File card.
I kept those in files. My buddy and I, we would spend all day just setting up the offensive, defensive positions, and like in the backyard, dude, putting all the barricades and everything up. And we never got to play GI Joes. We spent all fucking day setting them up, and then his mom would be like, "You got to come inside. It's time for dinner. You got to go to bed." Like, okay, we'll just keep playing tomorrow. And then we just like, tomorrow we like set up new positions.
Well, that makes sense for you, Bobak, because you're a fucking chess player. So you're like,
no, but I did the same thing. Is I would go over to my friend's house, Drew's house, and he would have this wood pile in his backyard, and we would all set up. He would have his Joes and Cobras. I would have my Joes and Cobras, and it would be like, okay, these guys are going to help your Joes, but these Cobras are going to attack yours. So your Cobras have to help out my Cobras. And then it would be like, because we would get home from school at like 3:30. So by the time we set everything up for 4:30, it would be like everybody has to come inside for dinner. And it's like, and because I had to go home, and it was, a 10-minute walk, and then oh no, the street lights are coming on. So it was a whole thing.
It's the whole thing. It's like, can we just turn the backyard lights on and let me play till midnight?
That's right. I'd be like, it's time for my GI Joes to have sex with each other. So I'd have them go.
When we hit puberty, dude, there was like fucking Jinx and Jinx and Flint going at it, because they were a couple. It's like Lady Jane and Duke.
What is that gay sex going on? No, Lady J just has short hair, Mom.
Yeah, she just has short hair. But
oh my God! He still has all the figures, all the vehicles, and the aircraft. Oh, dude, the aircraft.
That's awesome.
Oh, and the Thunderdome.
So fun, dude.
I'm being too loud.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Does it come with Tina Turner?
Wrong Thunderdome, but I like where your head is at.
Everything comes with Tina Turner.
We don't need another hero. Anyway. All right, guys. Anybody have anything left they want to share before we end the stream?
I don't think so.
3.5.
Oh, I do want to say that I haven't seen the Into the Spider-Verse movies, the animated ones, so I didn't say anything about that.
All good. I haven't seen any of them.
I didn't really have much to say about them. I've seen them; they're fine, but they're cartoons. So.
Yeah.
Ben,
yeah.
What about you, Canadian Spider-Man? What do you got?
Yeah, I've got a trivia question for you, real quick. It's this movie came out in 1981. It's a non-stop comic chaos when a comic book artist bumbles his way into international espionage after adopting the identity of his comic book character. When a beautiful Russian spy wants him to help her defect, his life explodes into more fantasy and excitement than all of his comic strips put together, starring Robert Arden and Barbara Carrera. What movie?
Is it Gotcha?
Who is Rocky the Squirrel?
Is it Gotcha?
No. I like Gotcha though. You'll no.
Similar
Scotty?
plot.
No idea.
It's a Disney movie.
Mulan.
Condor Man.
Condor Man? Who is the star of Condor Man? For some reason, I feel like it was a member of The Who.
Robert Arden.
Oh, I thought it was
Man.
Roger Daltrey for some reason.
No, this is you don't remember it. Okay.
I know of Condor Man.
Yeah, no, and it was about a comic book writer that became his creation.
Well, we can talk about Cool World until the cows come home.
Oh, Cool World. Oh yeah, that was God, who that was
several Oscar winners.
Tom DeSillo, right? That directed that. Was that Tom DeSillo?
I'm not sure of the director, but I know it's Gabriel Byrne, Kim Basinger, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, it was Tom DeSillo. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
No, I thought it was Bakshi, Ralph Bakshi.
It might be. I'm thinking of something else, but yeah. Either way.
Hey, Greek letters. Yes, Larson is here.
Hi.
Says there are no good comic book movies adaptations. That's a fact. Carry on now. All opinions are welcome, even the abrasives.
Well, you know what? Before we end, that actually that reminds me. I put up a poll at the beginning of the show, and we got 16 votes. Not a lot, but good. Have comic book movies left their best days behind them? Was the question. 43% said yes. 43% said to be determined, and 12% said no. So it's basically 50-50 that yes, they have, but we'll see. That's what I'm getting.
I'm gonna throw in a tiebreaker on that one. I'm gonna say that.
Go ahead.
And just hear me out. Comics, anything that's written or drawn, has been able to show so much more fantastic, crazy stuff than film until more recently. So now the special effects are catching up with what your imagination or an artist's drawing can show you. So I think the comic adaptations are going to get better because the film technology is going to be able to show the actual comics in a more true to form, really bring them to life more than before. Batman used to suck, but then once you add CGI, it starts to look cool, something like that.
Sure. I think you're looking at it from the lens of a visual perspective, though.
Yeah.
When we really want it to be more of something like Iron Man, where the visuals are cool, but it's more about the characters. So are we going to get a little bit of both? Or because visuals are cool, like this new Superman is probably going to look cool, but are we going to care about Superman by the end of the movie?
But is it actually an adaptation? So for me, because I love the faithful adaptations, the writing, if it's from a novel or from a comic, has a better chance of being good writing than an average movie. And so, like, I think when you get the best adaptations is where you have that. I'm going to keep saying faithful adaptation, but it's because the writing is so good in the original. That way you transform it to another medium because the storytelling was so good. I want to see it in a different way. Like,
I think that's what Guardians of the Galaxy was. Like, the writing was the best part. It had great visuals, but the writing was what made people love Guardians. Right?
And I don't know if that was an original storyline, or if it was like a storyline that was already in the comics because I never read it, but
Yeah. Anyway, anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else?
Justin,
Bueller, anyone?
Era Boise.
Right.
Avatar wasn't it wasn't a comic book.
No,
it was from the mind, the visionary director of True Lies and the Abyss.
We got a big one. Read that one, Scotty, because
Well, Greek Letters Larson says the script is more important than special effects. Older movies that come from adapting comics are better because they have better writing. The older X-Men movies are superior than DCU and MCU.
Yes. It's all
but I throw at you something like Dredd, which was a pioneer of special effects, or I throw at you X-Men First Class, and I say that I don't think that there is a I don't think that there's a bias. I think that when we go into it, hell, Greek Letters, do you think that Deadpool 3 is good? Is what I would ask you, because if you do,
I know
I would, because I like Greek Letters Larson. I think he's a great guy or person, and I just think that what you got is an adaptation of incredible looking people doing amazing things, and when we go to this, we are looking at fantastic mythology that is meant to entertain and inspire or depress or just make us feel something. And to get entertain would be absolutely
only thing that matters, Scotty. Entertain.
And when it comes down to it, if we're going to start counting bolts on how many adamantium bones Wolverine has, then I think that maybe it's about time to shovel a driveway and find a little piece.
All right. No, dude, I don't disagree with you on Deadpool and Wolverine. It's a cash grab. I just found it fun.
They're all like every one of these comic book adaptations, any adaptation, any film is an attempt to reach an audience. I think that is what any screenwriter, director, filmmaker does.
Dude, I always love to go back to Scent of a Woman. That movie was made to give Al Pacino an Oscar, and it did that. It's like
I think it was also meant to give a voice to disenfranchised elderly veterans.
But it just
people who like to smell women.
So it's the Joe Biden movie.
Awkward shoulder rub.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, every movie has a purpose for why it's made. There's Oscar bait movies, there's entertaining movies that want to make money. That's what I love about Days of Future Past so much. It's like, yes, it wanted to make money, but it also was just like, it was so it gave so many different voices to different things. It's like it was all over the place with like with its theories and its philosophy, and I love that about that. And you could say the same thing about one movie we never brought up tonight because it wasn't good, bad, or middle of the road, which was Superman Returns. Like that movie had a lot to say, it just wasn't very good.
Yeah, I like cream cheese, but I'm not going to bring it up at a buffet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway.
Is Superman Returns the sequel?
It's the Kevin Spacey one where he
that
plays
was the one
Lex
where,
Luthor.
Bryan Singer.
This was
left X-Men to do, and they casted a guy that kind of looks exactly like Christopher Reeve, but
He was good. The only bad thing about that is that
that movie with no dialogue.
Kate Beckwith or whatever her name was.
Oh God, she was terrible as
Kate
Lois
Bosworth.
Lane.
That's her. That was the only downside of that movie. That was the thing, and that was a situation where Kevin Spacey was like Kevin Spacey had directed Kate Bosworth in the Bobby Darin movie, which I do like.
Beyond the Sea.
Yes. Yeah. But then he was like, I'll do the movie if you bring Kate Bosworth with me. And it was like, thanks for bringing Melba Toast with you, Kevin. No wonder you're gay.
He was probably
you don't know how to hire a leading woman.
Scotty, he was probably fucking her boyfriend. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, but what I'm saying is that, like, what? Blue Crush? The girl from Blue Crush is going to be Lois Lane.
Because I love surfing. But, you know, if I was Bryan Singer and Kevin Spacey was like, hey, I'll be Lex Luthor, but how about Kate Bosworth for Lois Lane? Bryan Singer would have been like... Sorry.
But on the plus side, the casting couch was soaked.
She's not a bad actress. She just was not a Lois Lane.
She was not Lois Lane. There was no chemistry. Like, it was designed to have no chemistry.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, because they gave her a husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they gave her a fucking Cyclops. It's like, what the fuck was that all about, dude? Like, yeah. Anyway, we're done.
So, yeah, Superman Returns. While I appreciate the technical, I appreciate the attempting to show reverence to the Donner Superman. Superman Returns is a wet sandwich.
Nothing can kill the grimace. All right, we're done here.
Yes. All right, everybody. There's a lot of people. Dude, there's lots of people watching. I almost hate to end this because there's like.
I don't. It's been 3 hours, 3.5.
Yeah, we've been going for a while, but please check out Canadian Spider-Man's channel. It's really fun. Link is in the chat. I threw it in there a couple of times. I'll throw it in the description. And what do you have coming up there, Canadian Spider-Man? Anything new coming?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I've got every Thursday night. So tomorrow night I do a travel show where in the evenings where I show some photos of some of the places that I've been to around the world, and we just chat about what's in the photos and what the country's like, and it's just a fun time. And I usually have excellent panelists. Scotty has been on more than once, and as well as Auntie Terrific Jill and Ben. If you've got any photos of your adventures anywhere, you're welcome to come on.
I was a military guy. I've been all over the world.
This guy has some fucking photos.
All right. Well, you know what? We'll talk about it, and I'll have you on, and we can chat about your photos.
Thanks, man. Well,
and what?
Yeah, we appreciate you being on here, man. Great content, great insight. We'll have you on again soon, brother.
And you're welcome around any of my bonfire streams. I've got bonfire streams every weekend almost. And
hell yeah! Just we're friends on Twitter, or whatever it's called now. So just send me a thingy, and I'll send
Elon's. Yeah, you got it.
Scotty, what do you have coming up, brother?
Talking about the Matrix tomorrow on the Phantasmagorium. Gonna be popping into whatever Jill is doing on Friday. And then Saturday night, Jill and I are gonna be playing the original Fallout. And then, I don't know, whatever I want, really.
Bobak, do you play Fallout?
No, I haven't played it, but I kind of know of it. It's a cool post-apocalyptic world, you know. I just I never really got into like the role-playing sort of like campaign mode.
Yeah, we bumble and argue. It's so fucking chaotic. It's great.
And yes, we know Scotty still wants a She-Hulk. Yes.
Yeah, if you want, you can go to myx.com at ScottyR37 and buy me a She-Hulk. I don't know how this works. I'm looking for the 6 scale hot toy, and I think it's out of stock. I don't know how to but if you want to, buy me a She-Hulk.
And me and Bobak, me and Bobak host the House Off the Wagon, which is the House of the Dragon stream, and this I think May we're going to start right with the Duncan Egg show.
2 years already,
dude. Duncan Egg, the Duncan Egg show.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
so we got to.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
So in May we're going to start with the Duncan Egg show, and then. Yeah, we'll see where that goes because I don't know.
I'm looking forward. You know, honestly, I'm looking forward to it. I really hope that, like with the Duncan Egg, because the thing about all these like big epic battle things is you don't want to give away too much too early. They try to build up the tension and this and that, and like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, 2 seasons, really no like big epic climactic conflicts and stuff. I get it; they got a couple more seasons to go. But a lot of buildup. And so I'm afraid that Egg and Duncan might have a little too much buildup. I hope that because it's about a knight, like you got to have some swashbuckling, some sword slinging. Like give me a couple of duels at least.
I've heard so far that it's pretty good. So
good. Okay, excellent. I haven't read any of the books, but I'm totally invested in the storyline, the series. I love it when it's something that had a good author in the first place. Yeah. And then everything else, you know, can flow from there. So looking forward to it.
Yeah. So look for that. I mean, it's a ways off. It's in May, but I can't wait to start doing those live streams again with like, you know, a Game of Thrones adjacent, even though I still refuse to watch Game of Thrones.
You'd love 95% of it.
Yeah. Same here.
Final thing. Ariane says, great show, guys. Thank you. Great show, guys. Thank you for having. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here, darling.
We're at
my friend.
Boise. Don't forget to check out Condor Man.
All right, everybody. Canadian Spider-Man, welcome anytime. Thanks for being the guest, man. You're awesome. Bobak, love you. Scotty, love your body, Larry. Everybody.
Love your body, Larry.
We'll see you next time.
I never make these.
Bend your knees and follow through.